Yo, what's going on, everyone? Sorry for the late start to the stream. But it is what it is. We're here though. What's up? What's up? How's everybody doing? Ben, what's up? Rippo, what's up? Fabian, what's up? Let me throw this up here. Out of there, so I can have you guys up over here. Just get rid of all this. Throw that up there. Here, I'm just getting stuff set up. Doing good, Fabian. Just gonna watch the full reveal. It starts in 13 minutes. While we're waiting for that, let me just get up the teaser stuff. The mega like thread teaser, so we can just kind of look over some stuff until it starts. Do 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 do. Alright, where's the teaser? If I type that, it should pop up. There we are. Revered, what's up? Yes, DGG is live. We're going to be having that up as well. Let me actually throw that over to you guys so I can window capture it. Now we can drop the starting screen. So you guys should be able to see this. We can obviously go to the Theaser tab. Let me go ahead and... Oh, that's not the right thing to move. Oh my, hold on. Where is this? There we go. That's the right thing to move. Have you guys over here. Let me go ahead and make you guys just a bit bigger. There you go. I'll have to go and edit that, but there you go. Now you guys should be able to see better. Alrighty, alrighty. Yeah, man. Hey, man, you know, don't question it. So I obviously have this off. Let me go ahead and throw this on for you guys so you can hear it once the time is right. I have to do... How do I do this? I can probably honestly just set the game to it. I think this is the right thing. So if I were to throw this on, to have anything going, yeah, you guys should be able to hear that now. I could set it to whatever. It look, it is kind of loud. I might just leave like a 20 when we start, but we can figure that out then. But yeah, you guys should be able to hear that, which I think you are good because I see the like stuff moving. If the druid is in, I'll donate 20 bucks. Ben, all right, I'm hoping for druid now. I just so we have 10 minutes until it starts. Until then, we're just gonna look at some teasers. So for me, the plan, I was thinking about like making a video going over all the new stuff, but I feel like it might be counterintuitive to do that just because the time I make it, edit it, put it out, I'm going to be competing with the likes of like, you know, if we look, I'm going to be competing with, you know, Darth Microtransactions, Zizarin, you know, like all Rax, you know, Matthew, all of this people are probably going to put stuff out, right? So I might just not do that. And then just start looking into other things. Hopefully we get patch notes and we could just go right into like theory crafting, league start builds. Just because I don't want to work on something that is going to take just say a few hours to potentially the rest of the night to get, you know, the stuff compiled and then edit and then like that. And then it's too late by that point and nobody really cares about it because there's already 6 other videos out there that are the exact same. You feel me? But yeah, the main plan obviously is to make league start builds. That's the main plan. Anyone got Shadow for 100? Bro, imagine if they revealed the Shadow. That'd be crazy. How's, I mean, you know what I mean though, Revered. Like in terms of putting videos out of that nature, because I feel like those type of videos, people just watch the people they like instead of trying to look for his builds, or like, oh, I'm looking for League Star builds, I want to watch this video, I don't care who it's by type stuff, right? Whereas like patch note reveal stuff, people want to watch like Zizaran or Darth because that's who they like watching play these type of games and stuff like that, and they like their opinions on the patch notes, right? So they'll watch them first. So it's kind of harder to compete with them in that sense, just because they have such a bigger name on the platform. I hope that like kind of makes it a little bit better and a little bit better to understand. Exactly, Revered. Like I could sit there, right, make the video really good, but by the time that I do that and put it out, I guarantee you'll have Darth, and he'll be like, hey guys, here's what, you know, has happened today. If they put like patch notes out, he'll just go through the site and just scroll down and then be like, all right, that's what happened, peace, right? Whereas I could sit there, break it down, put some gameplay, kind of say why this is a good change to the game and the core, and it would, people really won't care about it, right? They'll just want to see what Darth wants to say about it. So that's why it's kind of like a little bit like I don't know if I should do it, if I should put time and work into it, or if I should just go into like League Start videos and stuff like that if I can, you know. We're so close, guys. 7 minutes. All right, so while we're doing that, we can look at some other stuff. So obviously the first thing they revealed is the weapon lock teaser, where, you know, you can run the same weapon on weapon set 1 and 2, which is a really cool change. What else? Obviously new support gems. None of these are really insane. Like perfect timing, I feel like in the game right now is kind of unless they're adding more stuff in currently that deals with perfect timing windows. I feel like adding support gems in for it are kind of weird, because we only have what, like 1 or 2 skills that really are good for perfect timing, so it's kind of weird there. This one is all right. Consume fully broken armor on enemies within range to trigger battle shout. So this could be good. This could be cool. We'll just have to wait and see on that. What else? Is your message visible, Fabian? On Twitch? Oh, no, I have not. Sorry, Fabian, I've been busy. I'll try to get to it as soon as I can, man. Ellie, what's up? That weapon one doesn't really make sense. Like, why even have weapon specific points and just give 20 extra points? Yeah. I think it's mainly because maybe you want to use a skill like Bone Storm, but you want to only have certain things on weapon set 1 and 2. But you don't want to have to get 2 weapons for it. So I understand in that regard, and it is a good change. Obviously visual fidelity. We have some stuff that isn't updated here. For example, the new class isn't in here. Almost 5 minutes. The, you know, like spear stuff isn't here. It's a little bit dated. We do have new stuff coming to essences, the, you know, like unique essences and stuff like that are going to be coming, which are cool. Obviously the mercenary subclass we'll see, the new Ascendancy, probably dealing with ballista totems and stuff like that, so maybe a totems type style class there. This helmet could be very good, considering it makes enemies in your presence count as being on low life, and there's stuff in the tree that gives you a lot more damage against enemies on low life, so it could be very, very good. Too bad it didn't count as full life, because isn't there something in the tree where it's like 100 or something like that % increased crit damage if you hit an enemy on full life? So if that was full life, man, the amount of builds we could do with that for crit would be crazy. The Prism Guardian Shield isn't bad. I mean, it's a good amount of LE reses to all. The Maximum Spirit for maximum life is interesting. I mean, we'll have to see, but I don't know. It's gonna... Maybe we could do something with Spear with this, potentially. I don't know. Yep, thanks, Fabian. Week, what's up, dude? 1.1G patch notes added support for upcoming Path 52 announcement. Enable the microtransactions from the Defendants and validated series of support packs. Got you. Lexter, what's up, man? Close, guys. Yeah, how long left? 4 minutes. Can probably stop the music low key and then get the live stream stuff going. So let me know if this is loud enough for you guys or not. This is 30%. To me, this is pretty loud, but I do have obviously the volume turned down a little bit in OBS. So if this isn't loud enough for you guys, let me know. I can turn it up more. And then I guess I can replace you guys like here. I mean, I guess for this I can turn off the thing just so it gives a better like viewing experience for you guys. Go all the way up. Okay, what if I did this for now? I'll turn the game down. There we go. So how does that feel? Right now you guys aren't on like any negative decibels or anything like that in OBS. I can go up obviously more. Like I can go 50% if you guys want. This is 50. Like, yeah, Lexter. Does it sound loud enough to you guys or what? I bet. So, well, this is... We'll turn this off right now and then we can just come back to it. So we have 3 minutes. Obviously, we know there's going to be Atlas tree changes. So that's nice because I feel like the Atlas tree right now is kind of eh. Obviously we have new tower in game changes. We've seen that. Basically, they're going to be allowing them to spawn with mechanics, which could be cool, but I think overall they kind of need more changes. They're just kind of right now. This gem could be cool. Basically, it makes if your skills would get extra damage as any other type, they gain extra cold damage. So I wonder, I guess if you're running like an Against the Darkness, since it gives extra lightning, it would just count as extra cold. So it could be cool for running stuff like Shattering Concoction and maybe some other wonky builds. This helmet could also be cool now that we can dual wield axes and maces and swords in one hand. So you can do, you know, two-handers basically as dual wielding. Could be interesting. And then there's obviously some more stuff in the forms, but I think we're pretty much close to the reveal, so we'll be waiting for that. Ellie, you mean like when League Start happens? Excuse me. Yeah, 100% I am. I plan on live streaming it all the way through. Obviously, I suck at speedrunning the campaign. So I'm going to try to look at some speedrun videos and stuff before then. And, you know, hopefully you guys can help me out as well in chat to get through the, like, acts quicker. But yeah, I'll be live streaming everything, like, from the moment I make the character and all that. So we have 1 minute left. Yeah, there's nothing. I don't think there's anything right now. Imagine they actually, what do you call it? Went and like did the full patch notes right now before the stream went live. That'd be hilarious. Yeah, so there's nothing here yet. 1 minute. 1 minute. I feel that. I mean, there's little things I'll be like. For example, when I was leveling my characters, I didn't even run like shield charge or whatever it's called. I think that's what it's called. And I know that is really good to get through the axe quicker. And then there's obviously little other things too that you can do to like bypass some areas that are quicker. So I mean, there's some stuff that I don't know about speedrunning that I can just watch like videos on and try to get there. Plus maybe some you guys in chat might know some stuff. So, but I mean, it'll be a learning experience for us. I'm just hoping to get through it within the first day to be at like Endgame. That's what I really want to do. So I'll probably try to do like an 8 to 10 hour live stream and hopefully I can get through campaign by then. But I mean, I guess we'll see, right? If they add 3 more acts, then maybe I won't get through it for the first day since you're going to have to play through, you know, the new 3 acts and nobody really knows how to get through those quickly. So I guess we'll just have to see what happens in this live stream. All right, 10 seconds. Here we go. The rolling amulet? Yeah, that's a good thing to run. All right, here we go. Here we go.
Hi, I'm Jonathan Rogers, Game Director on Path of Exile 2. Welcome to GGG Live. Well, it's
Let me
been
know
a
if it needs to
little
go
over
up
3
more.
months since we launched Early Access, so it's about time for our first major content update. Today, we're going to show you an exclusive reveal of Path of Exile 2, Dawn of the Hunt, which launches on April 4th. Twitch drops are enabled on today's livestream, so make sure you follow the instructions below in order to claim your Executioner's Guillotine finisher effect. Now in today's stream, we're going to take you on a deep dive into the new Dawn of the Hunt update. We'll cover a new class, 5 new Ascendancy classes, and huge expansions on character systems like unique items and support gems. After that, it's on to the endgame improvements, including changes to systems, a bunch of new encounters, and lots of other content.
Gee!
We're going to finish up today with a live Q&A session where Ziggy D will ask Path of Exile 2's game directors, myself and Mark, your questions from Twitch chat. Now we have a lot to cover today, so let's get started with a trailer for Path of Exile 2, Dawn of the Hunt.
Damn, no druid for you guys.
We Azmerian are guided by the spirit.
Unless they come
It
in
provides
hitting.
prey,
You know, maybe
shelter,
they didn't want to say.
even
but, yeah.
love. But for me,
Obviously, this is the Huntress.
one day, all that were changed.
So what's her Ascendancy class is going to be?
The spirit, it showed me something.
Spirits.
Something forbidden.
Interesting. I'm assuming
And
a,
to defend all I loved, I used it.
I'm assuming a subclass like Ascendancy is going to be something with the spirit, at least one of them.
I lost everything that day. But fate weren't finished with me yet. I'll right the wrongs I've done. I'll do what I must, no matter the cost. I will hear the spirit once more.
There's still, I think Stone Spear, actually. Yeah, that's the mine one. Blazing. Ooh, that one looked dope. Frenzy Charge style? At least that's what the green reminds me of. Ooh, these skills look kind of dope. Okay, so there's the roll one. You can ride on a roll. What kind of skill is that? Okay, so 25 new skills, dope. Okay, so it's the new, I think, league mechanic. Interesting, Rogue Exiles. Okay, that's a lot of support gems. That's a lot of new uniques, holy. Oh, we gotta go back and deep dive on that. Okay, that's a lot of stuff. You want it to be up? Yeah, I want 100%. I should go down to like 80. Let me know how that feels. Unless you're talking about my... get down to 50. Let's talk about my actual voice volume. We'll see how this is, though.
Now, as you can see, in Dawn of the Hunt, we're introducing the first new class since early access to POE 2, the Huntress. The Huntress is a spear-wielding Azmerian warrior. Born into a society with
Let me know
strict
how this
traditions,
is.
she was exiled from her homeland after using the power of a skill gem to defend her village. As a dexterous spear user, she specializes in both melee and ranged combat, dashing into and out of battle. Spears have extended range and a short dash, but unlike other melee weapons, you can also throw them. In order to make a hybrid ranged and melee character work, we had to do a lot of thinking about ways to make it fun to both enter and exit melee range. The first skill you will get as a Huntress is Whirling Slash. As well as striking in a circle around you, this skill creates a whirlwind that blinds your enemies. Leaving the whirlwind will make it explode. The more Whirling Slash is used, the bigger the whirlwind, and the bigger the explosion.
Okay.
Once you're out of there, you'll want to follow up with something ranged. Whip your spear around to shoot twisters towards your foes. These twisters bounce off walls and can hit enemies multiple times.
Twister build,
You
question
can
mark?
also throw twisters inside a whirlwind to shoot out extra tornadoes that do way more damage. In her offhand, the Huntress will usually want to hold a buckler, which allows you to do a new skill, parry.
Interesting.
While holding down parry, your character will counterattack any incoming attack from monsters near you, stunning them. In addition, the monsters will take extra attack damage from your follow-up strike. Some specific skills are designed to be used after a parry and have extra effects. Disengage is a skill that does a quick jump back, damaging enemies in front of you, and it can be used to interrupt other actions, like dodge roll. If you use it against a parried enemy though, it causes an explosion and gives you a frenzy charge.
Okay.
Just be careful. If you parry too much, you're going to get stunned and possibly killed.
Interesting. Okay,
You
I
can
was about to
combine
ask
this
that.
combo with Whirling Slash.
You just infinitely parry.
Slash, parry, disengage, and you'll get an explosion from the disengage and the Whirling Slash. The Huntress also has a variety of elemental spear throw attacks.
Okay, so this is a storm spear
You
one.
could use Lightning Spear to
Or
bounce
lightning
lightning
spear,
between your
whatever it's
foes. Or you could throw explosive spears into the ground. These spears take a while to detonate, but when they do, they'll incinerate anyone caught in the blast.
Okay, so this is just that's like
All
literally
spear
like
throws on the
crossbow.
Huntress can also be empowered by frenzy charges.
Or just a spear version.
For example, explosive spears will do an even larger explosion and leave fire on the ground. And these empowered versions can activate even more combos. Using Whirling Slash over ground fire will suck it into the whirlwind, adding fire to the explosion.
Interesting.
Using twisters inside a fire whirlwind will shoot out fire tornadoes as
It
well.
looks interesting, Ben.
And you can do similar combos with ice and lightning too. Now, a key aspect of hunting
I like
is
the
exhausting your
combos.
foes by causing blood loss. This skill is Rake, which dashes towards your target and unleashes a deadly slash, opening up wounds on your enemies. Follow up with Disengage and watch them bleed out as they run towards you. On the health bar of monsters, you can see how much blood loss the enemy has experienced, and the
That seems
Huntress
kinda
has skills to
cracked.
take advantage of this. For example, using Blood Hunt will thrust forward and cause a bloody explosion. The more blood loss, the bigger the explosion.
Interesting.
If you want to cause bigger bleeds, try out Rapid Assault. The final hit of this multi-hit combo will stick a spear into your enemy for a big bleed. Now, Explosive Spear and Rapid Assault both result in leaving spears behind, either in the ground or in enemies. But there are other skills that leave spears around too, like Storm Lance, that leaves an electrical spear that arcs towards enemies. But what can you do with all these spears? Detonate them, of course. Thunderous Leap will allow you to jump onto and explode any spears either in the ground or in your enemies.
Interesting.
Now, as well as hunting animals, the Huntress also has the ability to work with them.
You could literally
While
like
fighting
mind
any
style?
beast, you have the ability to tame it and use it as a companion.
Wait, what?
You can only have one companion at a time, but it will keep the mods that were on it.
That is
Try to
kind
find a
of
rare
dope.
beast with good mods to take full advantage of your ability to tame them.
What?
Now, this is just the beginning of the Huntress. We've
Can you do
really tried to make the
bosses? Hold
hybrid
up.
ranged and melee gameplay work for this class by having a huge amount of synergy between ranged and melee options. There are 22 new skills available for the Huntress. By endgame, you'll be slinging hundreds of insanely powerful spears, sending forth spirit animals and summoning the might of Solaris from the sky.
Okay, that skill looks dope, brother.
But we still haven't talked about Ascendancy classes yet.
Oh,
What can
okay,
the
this is what I
Huntress
want.
ascend into? Well, the first Ascension class you could choose is the Ritualist. The Ritualist has embraced the darker side of Azmerian traditions by harnessing the power of animal sacrifice and plague. The Corrupted Life Force skill causes all enemies around you to grow volatile blood boils on their skin. When those enemies are slain, the boils will burst, spreading corrupted blood to all enemies around you.
Oh, that's corrupted blood is
The
cracked.
Ritualist also excels in taking advantage
Another
of magical
ring
trinkets.
slot? Wait, what?
The Unfurled Finger skill allows you to equip an additional ring on a
All right.
finger around your neck.
Well, Ingenuity just got more busted.
Taking Mystic Attunement increases the bonuses
Oh
of
my
all the
God.
rings and amulets you have equipped.
Ingenuity really got more busted.
Now, this is one of my favorites. As the Whispers Ask grants you a new skill, Ritual Sacrifice. Use the skill on the corpses of slain rare monsters to absorb the power in their blood, to give you one of their modifiers for a short time.
A mini headhunter, interesting.
Specialize further into Ritualistic Sacrifice with As the Whispers Demand, which allows you to perform that skill on yourself instead of a corpse. Cut your own hand, sacrificing some of your own blood to empower yourself.
Interesting.
The Amazon Ascension is for those looking to hunt more than just beasts. Trained as an elite guard to the most important Azmeri elders, the Amazon will use more traditional fighting techniques mastered to perfection. The Predatory Instinct skill will cause you to reveal weaknesses in the defenses of rare and unique enemies,
Okay, that is
causing you to
really
deal more
good.
damage.
Fudge.
You can see those weak spots represented on their life bars. While using Elemental Infusion, any charges you consume will infuse your weapon with elemental power, causing any projectile attacks to explode on impact. The critical strike skill is as simple as it sounds. It takes your excess accuracy and gives it to you as critical strike chance. Additionally, you have skills like Mystic Harvest, which allows your elemental damage to leech life,
Oh,
and
Huntress is
Azmerian
kind of looking
Brew to
good.
be able to use either flask to restore both life and mana. So those are the 2 new Ascendancies for the Huntress.
Huntress kind of looking
Those
good.
aren't the only Ascendancies in Dawn of the Hunt. We've added a new Ascension class for 3 of the other existing classes
Okay,
too.
well, we don't know one.
First up, for our warriors out there, we have the Smith of Kitava. The warrior is a blacksmith in origin, taught by his father Renly. With this ascension, you can take your smithing skills to new heights by embracing power from the insatiable one himself,
Interesting.
Kitava. Smiths of Kitava are master blacksmiths and have the ability to forge their weapon, quite literally. Using the Against the Anvil notable skill, you can enhance your weapon with fiery destruction before any battle. After doing so, your attacks will release explosions on hit for maximum devastation.
I mean, it's cool.
You can also use the power of Kitava to summon an animated copy of your weapon to fight alongside you. A great blacksmith can do more than just forging their weapon though. Their armor can be enhanced too. Now you might think this Ascendancy class tree looks a little abnormal, and you're right. There's a lot of notable skills all disconnected at the bottom there. By taking this point here, which is free to assign, your character is unable to equip body armors with mods of any kind. So your body armor must be normal. Sounds like a downside, right? Except now in true blacksmith fashion, you get to craft your own body armor by taking those
that's
disconnected
cool.
notables with your points. If you want your body armor to grant life, take this notable. If you want resistances, take this one. There's so many choices.
Oh my God.
Think of it like you're crafting your own body armor, just in a more literal sense. Now, let's move on to those who prefer the reassuring
I mean,
feel
it's
of a
dope.
crossbow in their hands.
I wish they would
the
just,
mercenary. Alongside the
thing.
existing Ascension classes, the
crafting
Gemling Legionnaire and the Witch Hunter, you can now play as the Tactician.
Tactician, okay.
The Tactician is a former Blackguard elite. Free from the duties of a Blackguard, he is able to use his training to decimate the monsters of Rayclast and earn a healthy income doing so. This training comes in the form of various skills like suppressing fire, which causes all projectiles to pin enemies. When
Then it's
combined
only
with
that,
the
I'd say.
right where we want them notable, your pin not only stops your enemies from moving, but stops them from performing actions too, similar
Right.
to freeze. With a soldier's training, the Tactician also works well cooperatively. Using the whoever pays best notable, you can place multiple banners at once. The Watch How We Do It skill gives a portion of your weapon's damage to your allies as well. But if that isn't enough, you can also command your army of off-screen archers to unleash hell and carpet an entire area with arrows. Finally, witch players will be able to join their
Mercenaries
legions by
looking kinda
becoming
to
undead
me.
themselves. In Dawn of the Hunt, we're introducing the Lich Ascension class.
Oh,
The Lich is a master of chaos and curses and could sacrifice her life to enhance her energy shield. The Crystalline Phylactery skill allows you to nominate a jewel in which to contain part of your soul, massively increasing its power. There's just one downside to splitting your soul this way though. If you have no energy shield, your mana costs will shoot up. The Necromantic Conduit skill causes you and allies in your presence to have unholy might, granting extra damage as chaos damage. Rupture the Soul makes enemies you curse explode with chaos damage when slain. Dominion over Flesh allows you to apply an additional curse. It's safe to say you'll be the true master of the occult by choosing the Lich class. So Dawn of the Hunt has the Huntress and 5 new Ascension classes, but it doesn't end there. Let's take a look at some of the new skills we've added.
okay.
Now, you may
okay.
remember we previously talked about the Raised Spectre skill.
Yeah, Merc is
It's
kind of
finally
looking
complete
eh.
and
I'll
will
be
be made
honest.
available in the upcoming
Looks looks
expansion.
cool. Huntress looks
It can
really
be found
dope.
in the occult skills on the skill gem crafting panel. Raised Spectre is a skill that allows you to trap the soul of almost any monster in the game, which you can then summon in the skill panel.
Oh, that is dope.
Spectres cost spirit and will revive automatically if they die, but the spirit cost varies based on the power of the
Minion
monster.
players are eating.
You could summon an army of weaker monsters, or a few of the more powerful monsters.
Oh, that's dope.
You can combine them with your existing skeleton minions,
Please tell me we can raise bosses.
or summon exclusively specters. It's all up to you and how you want to customize your army of the undead.
There's
Given
going to
that
be
there are
one
hundreds
enemy
upon
out there
hundreds
that's
of monster
broken to
variants in
summon.
Path of Exile 2,
That they haven't looked
it's safe
at.
to say you'll be experimenting with this one for a while. We look forward to seeing which monsters serve you best.
Alright, okay.
Now let's move on to our next skill. Since we've been talking about summoning undead so much, Let's have a change of pace and summon something a little more alive.
Yeah, right?
In
I
Dawn
doubt
of the
they'll
Hunt,
allow
we're adding the
bosses to be
Summon
summoned
Rower
though.
skill.
Okay, so this is
Summon
for
your
anyone.
friendly rower to aid you in combat as a minion. You can also mount your rower in combat at any time, allowing you to move at full speed even while shooting arrows or throwing spears. Be wary though, if you take too much damage while riding your mount, you can be knocked off and get overwhelmed. It's worth keeping an eye on your stagger bar, as falling off the mount can mean almost certain death.
How does it work with Moose?
On the topic of new ways to enhance your character, let's
Into
talk
the
about
forest?
support gems.
Question mark?
Support gems are used to modify your skill gems in meaningful and interesting ways. Currently, we feel that a lot of builds have insufficient options here. To alleviate this, we're adding over 100 new support gems.
That's cool.
Hema crystals will enable a new kind of bleed build, turning the damage over time you would have done into explosive Vile crystals. Alignment is a support gem for bow attacks, which can reward skilled players with good positional skills. Caltrops will allow you to litter the battlefield with hazards, slowing your foes as you fling spears through their ranks.
That's going to be a lot of looking through stuff.
But there's plenty more for every playstyle, such
Oh,
as
it's going to be a lot through the
enormity,
patch notes. More damage,
unsteady
more
tempo,
life. Damn, that's
profanity,
good.
retaliate, syzygy. Yep, that's a real word.
Huh.
And many more.
Yeah.
Now, we've talked about a
patch notes
new
are gonna be
class,
crazy.
new Ascendancy classes, new skills, and new support gems. But let's not forget about the core
Basically,
of a true
we're-
action RPG, the items. To start with, let's talk about uniques.
Okay.
We're adding over 100 new unique items. This time, we've made sure to add uniques with a focus on mid and endgame tiers to make sure there are more exciting items to find for higher level characters. Let's look at some examples. Embrace your inner devil with Chernobog's Pillar. It grants you a large amount of fire damage based on your block chance. The Coming Calamity allows you to become a true master of the elements, granting you all 3 elemental herald skills without costing any spirit.
Well, that's actually
At the same
crack.
time,
No
it
elemental
penalizes enemy
resistances?
resistances. Wastegate is a belt useful for builds using a single resource like Blood Magic or Archmage builds. With this belt, you can use 2 life flasks or 2 mana flasks. It's up to you.
Interesting.
Now, we could go through these all day, but we'll leave most of them for you to discover. Suffice to say, though, we want there to be way more cool things to find. Over time, our goal is to add a unique to every single base item type at a minimum, so that you can chance any base in the game.
Interesting.
Now, given that we have the Huntress, we
Spear-
have a set
that
of
spear
unique
looks
spears from
dope.
early game
Oh
all
my
the way
God.
through the end game as well. One example is SiahZ's Spear, which
Oh,
combines
such as
bleed
bleed.
and fire in a powerful way.
Aggravating anybody with this
It
weapon
allows
also
your ignites to be
aggravates all,
aggravated,
like,
doing
knights.
substantially more damage.
Oh my god.
We're also introducing a suite of unique bucklers with some interesting parry mechanics.
Infinite
Kalgyra's
projectile
Arc, for
parry
example,
range?
allows you to parry projectiles from any distance. And we're
Okay.
also adding our first unique charms. Bayra's Anguish will not only protect you from Ignite, but will also emit a devastating fire nova whenever you do get ignited. In sum, there's just a ton of new uniques to find. We can't wait to see the weird and broken builds that come out.
Wow.
Now, we also want to talk about
I don't know
crafting
what to
options.
say right now. Okay,
In
thank
each
you,
major
crafting.
update during early access, we'll be continuing to add and
Come on,
improve the
crafting
options
rework.
here.
Come on.
We have various new crafting tools that have been added as rewards to many of the different types of new content that we're adding. But for now, I just want to mention the changes to runes. Runes add commonly available mods, but since they only have one tier, flat damage mods tend to get outclassed by endgame. So we've changed runes to have multiple tiers, allowing you to get higher tier mods than before.
And that's good.
Our plan is to significantly expand the number of more specialized mods for crafting using socketables as we add new content over time. And the first new set of those comes from what we're talking about next. In Dawn of the Hunt, we're adding Azmerian Wisps, which can be found throughout both the campaign
There's the
and the
League
endgame.
like style content. Interesting.
The Azmeri spirit has made itself present in Rayclast, and it appears to be trying to warn, or maybe prepare us for the coming darkness. You will first encounter a manifestation of it in the Grellwood in Act 1, where you'll meet Delwyn, an Azmeri hunter who is trying to find out what exactly is causing the spirit to behave this way. As you approach the wisp, it will flee, leading you past monsters. Any monsters it comes into contact with are infused by it, making them more powerful. Each spirit is associated with a specific revered animal within Azmeri culture. This one is a wisp of the Great Bear, and grants enemies extra life and stun. The wisp moves faster the closer you are, and as you move away, they slow down to wait for you. but if you get too far away for too long, they'll dissipate and return to the woods.
Okay.
As you continue to chase the wisp, it will find and possess a rare or unique monster, granting it a new powerful ability. Because this was a wisp of the Great Bear, this monster now also has increased life and stun. But on top of that, it will periodically summon a large spectral bear that slams with wild fury.
This dude's build's horrible, by the way.
If you're able to defeat this foe, you will be rewarded. For each monster that was infused and killed along the way, the rewards will be increased. Each wisp has its own mechanics.
This dude's super juiced.
The Wisp of the Winter Owl is a primal wisp that causes enemies to deal extra cold damage, gain energy shield, and release wind vortices on deck.
Okay, so what did you get for doing the
When
mechanics,
infusing a
though?
monster, they will call down large tornadoes to protect their host. The Wisp of the Wild Cat is a vivid wisp that causes affected monsters to deal more critical strikes and become more evasive. When it infuses a monster, it will summon a barrage of feline spirits that will attempt to tear you limb from limb. If you're lucky, you may even find sacred wisps that can do
Ooh.
some pretty crazy things to the monsters they influence. Like the Wisp of the Cunning Fox, which turns normal monsters into magics, magic monsters into rares, and rare monsters into actual bosses.
Oh my god. That's actually kind of great.
Azmerian Wisps can drop a new set of socketable items that allow you to craft a wide range of interesting new
Critical
mods
damage
onto your
bonus.
items.
Interesting.
Each
One
one may
rage on
only be
melee
used
hit.
on a specific
Ooh,
item slot.
that'd be cool. How the
As
blood cannot be
mentioned,
inflicted on
the
you.
Azmerian Wisps can be encountered throughout the game, but there's also a
Yeah,
new
right, it has
endgame map
negative
called the
damage on
Azmeri
it.
Ranges, a mountain village where the Azmeri once lived, now overrun with corrupt monsters. This map always has multiple Azmerian Wisps in it, and familiar, yet not quite the same boss fight. Azmerian Wisps can also be further modified by the endgame Atlas tree as well, and by tablets. But I'm not going to be the one talking about those things. In order to cover all the new content in Endgame, I'm going to hand things over to Mark.
Hi,
Huh?
I'm Mark Roberts, game director on Path of Exile
What you got
2.
cooking, Mark?
There's a ton to talk about with the endgame today, so let's dig right in. Path of Exile 2's early access began with a brand new endgame, and it was clear that it needed a lot of work. After absorbing your feedback, we're ready to make some epic changes.
About time.
The first thing is, we just need a lot more content. In Dawn of the Hunt, we have made sure to focus on increasing the sheer number of interesting and different encounters you will randomly stumble into as you explore the endgame.
That's good.
And the second goal is to smoothen the progression through maps and reduce the amount of annoying busy work. To start with, let's talk about the new interesting stuff to find. Well, the most obvious thing to add are new maps. As well as the Azmeri Ranges that Jonathan mentioned earlier, Dawn of the Hunt also contains 7 other new maps, all with their own custom encounters.
Good.
Let's start with this one.
The Feral Megaliths map starts off in the wild Ezomite forests. As you progress through the forest, you will find mysterious rune-carved stones that, when touched, surge with energy. After activating all the stones, you can find a grand henge, where all the energy is coalescing. You can then start an encounter. The area darkens, a storm moves in, and a concentration of energy summons a dangerous boss. You must fight and defeat the boss to get its rewards. Once you have defeated it, summon another. And
Interesting.
another. And
Okay.
another.
All right.
And another.
Calm down.
You have 10 total waves of boss fights which get incrementally more difficult.
Okay.
If you manage to defeat them, you get full boss rewards, but also opportunities to get new runes. These can only be obtained from this map. The Fractured Lake
What?
contains a surreal
couldn't read it all.
waterscape with fractured mirror-like objects. As
Stop
you
the
move
slander,
around the
Elliot.
map, the terrain itself elevates from below, creating the ground you walk on. In this unique map, all the rare monsters are mirrored, so you're always fighting 2 of the same rare at the same time, which can prove quite difficult.
This would
If
be
you
good for
manage
Breach.
to overcome that challenge and make it to the end of the map, you'll be presented with a broken mirror, a powerful altar-like object that contains an item within it. The item contained within is a new base type, either an amulet or a ring, that can be crafted to have additional prefixes
Oh, wow.
or suffixes at the cost of the other.
That is
The last
pretty good.
unique map we'll show today is one based around the essence
That is
mechanic.
insane.
You enter a crystalline cavern, and you will find a powerful map boss imprisoned in the center. It is surrounded by many rare monsters, also imprisoned in essences. By freeing and defeating the rare monsters, the essence they held will be upgraded to a greater essence, and be added to the imprisoned map boss. How brave are you? How many essences will you add to the boss?
All of them.
Overdo it, and you might lose everything. Underdo it, and you might regret it. It's your choice. Speaking of essences, alongside visual improvements, you're now able to apply Vaal Orbs to corrupt the essences with a range of unpredictable
That's good.
outcomes. It could increase the number of essences, re-roll all the essences to the same type, or even
Right,
upgrade the essences to greater essences.
Oh, that's good.
What if they're already greater essences? Well, it can upgrade those too.
Really?
We have 4 new corrupted essences.
Oh.
Essence of Hysteria, Delirium, Horror, and Insanity.
Each corrupted essence has its own interesting combat mechanics. For example, the essence of Insanity causes you to question even your own mind, as monsters split into shadowy clones, and you must locate the real one before a devastating icy explosion freezes everything around it.
Okay, interesting.
Each of these has their own crafting outcomes. The essence of Insanity can be applied to a belt. It adds a mod that will ensure the next Vaal Orb used on the belt will guarantee adding 2 enchantments.
Huh. Well, that's kind of good for valing stuff.
It's worth noting all the essences in the unique map can also be corrupted too, if you're willing to risk it. It's worth noting we have also added 10 extra Atlas passive points you can earn by completing 5 different unique maps.
That's good.
Now, new maps are just the beginning. We had a goal where we wanted to make sure you were constantly finding exciting new content, and that it could be lurking around any corner. So, we have added a bunch of new things that you could stumble into in any map you run.
On your travels, you will sometimes encounter rogue exiles. Others like you who have been exiled and are openly hostile. Some are malicious, some are mad, while others are simply fiends for loot. They will challenge you, a fight to the death. They use the same skills available to players and even the same items. They aren't just dressed up in those items, they're actually using them. It's going to feel like a true player versus player situation. Of course, if you are able to slay these exiles, those items will all drop on the ground. So if you encounter an exile using a powerful or valuable unique item, which you can see displayed under their life bar, you want to be damn sure you kill them. Because if they kill you and your party, they'll portal out taking their items with them. Every fight will feel completely different depending on the
Look,
items
6
they
maps
come
portal
equipped.
remaining. Hold on.
These
Can
exiles
you go
are
back
much
in maps
smarter than
now?
your regular
They
monsters.
might have did it where you don't.
They have
You can
capabilities
redo
to
maps a
dodge
bunch of
roll,
times. Wait, hold on.
avoid your abilities with smart pathfinding, smart
Wait, hold on.
targeting, and much more action-packed
We
gameplay.
might get more than 1 chance per map now. Wait, hold
Fortunately,
on.
they're like you, and they're not super durable. Unless, of course, they're wearing uniques like Calm's Heart, in which case, expect a longer battle. There are 12 different rogue exiles you can find, each with their own skills and personalities. Some may insult you, while others may admire your honor in combat.
Another encounter you might stumble onto in Dawn of the Hunt are one of 4 new unique strongboxes.
Strongboxes are chests with modifiers.
Okay, good.
When you try to
Strongboxes
open
are
them,
dying.
they activate traps and spawn waves of monsters that you must defeat to access the loot. Let's take a look at 2 of the new unique boxes that are harder to find and behave just a little bit differently. The Ogham's Legacy Strongbox has a corpse splayed out in front of the rune-carved stone. Upon interacting with the stone, you activate Forbidden Ezomite magic, which revives the monster as a powerful rare. The Strongbox comes with a modifier which determines how many times it will revive that rare. Each time you defeat the monstrosity, the Strongbox revives it again, adding an extra modifier to the monster. With each resurrection, it becomes more difficult, but also more rewarding. This Strongbox is infused with thaumaturgy from ancient Vaal technology. Eshel's Torment has a powerful artifact inside, and is guarded by chaos itself. Defeating the monsters will grant you a unique
wasn't
item
showing.
with a specific corrupted outcome. You'll have to find the other 2 for yourself to see what they do.
Now, let's talk about the introduction to the endgame. Upon starting the endgame, Doriani tasks you with
Yeah,
cleansing
skip leg day.
corruption to help restore the land. However, in practice, the quest objective just sent you on a grind to clear 15 maps. We wanted to make the quest to unlock your Atlas passives much more interesting.
Now, Doriani is tasking you with a more specific objective. On the Atlas, you will find areas of corruption caused by the beast. In the center of each one, you will find a corrupted nexus, the source of the affliction. In the areas leading up to the Nexus, you will notice that corruption spills out from slain enemies and amalgamates into powerful monsters. Corrupted maps existed on the Atlas before, but we've done significant work on improving these monsters. We've also done a full pass on the modifiers on these maps to make them more interesting and more rewarding. Once you reach the Nexus, you'll have a new task: cleanse the source of corruption. When you defeat the last rare in those maps, they will spawn one of 3 terrifying bosses, amalgamations of corruption itself. After defeating that boss, Doriani will come and cleanse the corruption for good. As the remains of the boss are purged of corruption, it coalesces into raw crystallized power, which you can use to gain points for your Atlas passive skill tree.
Okay.
The upgrade system that allows you to add and enhance content in your maps. We didn't stop there though. When you complete a corrupted Nexus, all of the remaining surrounding corrupted maps will become cleansed maps. Cleansed maps also have new monsters, a new boss, and their own set of modifiers and rewards, including finding fracturing orbs by slaying cleansed enemies.
Oh, okay, hold up.
These orbs can be used in crafting on a rare item to cause one of its modifiers to become fractured. A fractured modifier is one that cannot be modified by any means.
Oh my god.
You are able to
Crafting just
freely
got so
modify
much
that
better.
item, ensuring the fractured modifier will never change. If you get the right item with the right mod, it can prove to be a very powerful crafting base indeed.
Crafting got so much
You must now choose. Do you complete all the corrupted maps and then the Nexus? Or maybe you beeline to the Nexus, complete it, and do all the remaining maps cleansed. Both have rewards to entice you and challenges to assess.
That's a good change.
Now, let's have a talk about towers.
One thing we've had
They're
a lot of
horrible.
feedback
Get
on
rid
is
of
the
them.
busy work around running towers and managing your tablets. The first change we've made here is that we have reduced the number of towers drastically, so there are now 1/3 as many as before, but we've made them much more powerful. To start with, tablets now inherently add twice as many mechanics, but that's not all. Running higher tier maps and towers now increases the number of mechanics applied by tablets. By tier 15, the bonus is double, allowing a single tablet to now add 4 times as many mechanics as before.
Interesting.
So, we're running far fewer towers, dealing with fewer tablets, and affecting even more maps than before. But because there are fewer towers overlapping with each other, you won't get as many opportunities to stack different tablets. In order to solve this, we've made it so that each tower can consume up to 3 tablets at once.
Huh.
You always get 1 slot on completing the tower, but if you can complete a tower with more mods on the Waystone, you can unlock a 2nd or 3rd slot. Overall, this allows for even more juicing from towers, while drastically reducing the amount of busy work you have to do.
W
On
change.
top of that, towers are much more interesting maps because they can now spawn with all mechanics,
W
including
change.
bosses.
Each tower map has a new boss. Let's take a look at a couple here.
The boss fight of the Alpine Ridge map has 2 powerful witches contesting for territory. One witch has an affinity for ice, the other fire. Who will win? Hopefully neither. The boss of the Sinking Spire map is a remnant of the Val that has been
I
charged
hate
with
this
lightning.
dude.
It uses a full suite of lightning abilities. But be careful. If any of them hit the surrounding constructs, they will power up.
Bro, this dude in
Another
campaign does
thing
way
that
too
we've
much
seen
damage.
a lot of feedback about is sustaining Waystones. As we looked into it, we realized that the people who couldn't sustain Waystones were dying a lot. A lot more than we had expected.
Here comes
and
the
that made us
portal.
realize something. During the campaign, the expectation is that you can die multiple times in order to learn how to overcome challenges. You are able to learn how the monsters behave, adapt to their skills, and eventually overcome them. But as soon as you get to the endgame, you are effectively no longer allowed to die if you want to sustain Waystones.
That's
By
true.
the time you are getting towards the end of endgame, we want you to have to be careful not to die. But it certainly shouldn't be that we have such a sudden shift as you run your first maps.
The first change we're making is you can now respawn and return to a map if you die. Continuing from where you left off.
I'm hearing a butt.
When you start the endgame, you get up to 6 total attempts
Yep.
per map. As you add more modifiers to a Waystone, the number of respawns goes down. This means that as you get to the point that you're running every waystone as a rare, you will have to be more careful. In
Wait.
parties, everyone gets to respawn that number of times.
Okay. What was I about to say?
But we still think it's important that you can kill a boss in one go. In order to allow that to happen, we've made a change so that once you start the boss fight, it changes over to the same respawning system we use for pinnacle bosses. This means that the map owner can choose to respawn everyone at the same time.
Interesting.
Another complaint we've seen a lot of is players not wanting to do the pinnacle content because of the experience penalty from dying. A change we've made here is that all pinnacle content now no longer grants experience, but also no longer removes experience on death either.
W change!
Dawn of the Hunt also brings the first batch of Twilight Order reliquary
Such a good
keys
change.
from the early access supporter packs. These keys contain items selected by our supporters. They can
Okay, right,
contain
Ellie.
any unique item found in Path of Exile 2. If the selected item is a pinnacle boss drop, then only special keys dropped by this content will be able to provide these items. For example, Hand of Wisdom in action can only come from a key dropped by Zesht. We're also making a change that allows pinnacle boss uniques to drop at any difficulty. Rarer uniques will be rarer at lower difficulties, but still possible to find. This applies to the drop chances for the reliquary keys from this content as well.
Okay.
We spoke about towers and tablets earlier, but we have also added a suite of unique tablets. Each of these adds crazy interactions to the maps influenced by it. For example, this unique tablet allows you to run any map in a tower's radius without requiring connections, which can be quite useful for jumping gaps and traveling around your atlas. And this tablet causes all runic monsters spawned during expedition encounters to be duplicated, and weakens all expedition monsters that emerge from the ground. The Atlas tree has also been expanded, and you can find many of the new mechanics there,
Good,
and
good.
improvements to existing ones too.
Nice. Good instances.
Now, through this
Okay.
live stream, we have mentioned quite a few new crafting options that we've added.
We need more.
New runes, corrupted essences, fractured mods, and jewelry crafting bases. But we did have just one more crafting system to talk about: recombination.
Let's
Expedition
go!
was the only in-game mechanic that was lacking a crafting system.
Oh my god.
So that needed to change.
This is...
Recombination is a mechanic that might be familiar to some players. It allows you to merge two items together, hoping
so
to get the
big.
best elements of each on a single new item. This new crafting bench will be unlocked as you complete your first expedition, and requires artifacts found during expeditions to fuel it.
Expeditions
The
got better.
rarer the mods on the item you are combining, the more expensive the cost.
That wraps up all the major in-game changes we're talking
Recombinators
about
is
today.
back!
With all the system changes and new content, we can't wait to get in there, start blasting maps.
They have
and
not talked about any
obliterating
nerfs.
monsters. There is one more thing we wanted to clarify
Yeah,
before
right,
we
Ellie?
move on, which is that all the content we've talked about today will be made available in the existing early access leagues, so you can play your existing characters. However, there will be new leagues made for those who wish to start in a fresh economy.
Alright.
It is
W.
recommended to start over and get the full new
W.
experience in the Dawn of the Hunt leagues.
Damn right I'm starting over.
For all our existing early access players, we're really looking forward to joining you playing in this new update. For those who don't already have access and are interested in playing Path of Exile 2, Dawn of the Hunt, you are able to at any time purchase an early access supporter pack at www.pathofexile2.com. Additionally, the Paladin and Penance supporter packs are now available to purchase in Path of Exile 2.
Yeah, right, Ben? I thought
and
they were going to say
contain
no
6
restart.
microtransactions each, and the full pack's face value in points. All the microtransactions contained within these packs
No, so,
are purely cosmetic
no
and do not
mention
affect
of
your
new
character's
acts. I don't
power
think they're
or
coming.
progression in any way.
I thought we were
Thank
getting
you
to the
so
end of the
much for your
announcements.
ongoing support. We're just about to start the Q&A
So,
with CED.
0 new acts.
With release at the end of next week, our community team will be posting crucial information you'll need for the release.
Where's the patch notes?
Keep an eye on the news. On release weekend, we expect to launch the new mystery box and many new microtransactions, including Path of Exile 2's first alternate skill effects.
Let's go!
Thanks for joining us today
You know about
and
to be
checking
buying
out
them.
our latest developments.
What the patch notes?
We're
Where's the
looking
patch
forward to
notes?
playing the Huntress, trying new builds, and exploring the new endgame next week. We'll begin the Q&A shortly, so please get your questions ready.
All right, so we'll watch the Q&A as well. All right, so huge new stuff. I should have been writing this stuff down. I'm hoping that they kind of like do something. I wish they would throw it like a thread out, like saying everything new. But I mean, wow, that's a lot of good new stuff. So, what's an alternate skill effect? Basically, what that means, Ellie, is like, for example, lightning arrow. You know how when you shoot, it's like a blue arrow. You can change that. They might do a one where it's like red, and stuff like that. Like that's basically what they mean by alternate. It'll just change the way the skill looks when you use it. Give money. All right, I think. All right, so a lot of good changes there. We have what? A new class, the Huntress. We know the 2 Ascendancies coming with it. Honestly, out of all the new stuff revealed for like new class-wise, Mercenary looks kind of underwhelming, I'll be honest. I thought it was going to be more centered around Ballista Totems and that style. It just doesn't seem it is. It just seems kind of like out of the new stuff coming for classes. Lich looks cool. I'll have to look into her more. But to be honest, I mean, Warrior looks decent, but I don't really know how I'm going to feel about sitting there hammering my weapon in the middle of a map. You know, like, I don't know. I don't know how good it'll feel. Huntress looks really fun. I'm not going to lie. She looks like she has a lot of cool stuff that can be built into. I just want to kind of look at the stuff, though. Like, I could go back, I guess, into the patch notes. Or not patch notes. There's even no patch notes. I guess the streams and look. But, yeah, I mean, right now, we don't really have anything up, which kind of sucks.
Or wanting to design the item, the less of a chance of actually having success. So that means that if you just want to get like a mod, if you want to get an item with like, okay, these 2 mods that I found off the ground, that's you know, relatively easy.
If they have one out,
Item which has,
Elliot.
yeah, all of them then are very hard.
So you can spear on standard server? Yes, they said that like all the new content is coming to standard. So your existing characters right now, you can just wait to the new content and play everything on there. Or if you want to have like a brand new economy reset and all that, and you don't want to deal with any of the stuff currently, like with the economy currently in the standard, you can make a new character in the new Dawn of the Hunt League, and you can play into there, which I'm going to be doing obviously because a new economy reset, you know, it should be way more balanced. So
we've kind of got a plan for doing that.
Gemling is still the merc.
Yeah,
I basically.
I think it's a much better design than what we had before for recombinators.
If it's not there for O2O, it'll
Yeah,
be
after
as soon as it can afterwards. But yeah, you know, spur of the moment, night before the live stream
Yeah, I see
design
that epic.
sessions.
Yeah, exactly, Weird. Yeah, the 100 new support gems and uniques is insane. Like, so I do want to go back and look into the stuff. We're not going to look at the Q&A. I want to go back and try to go through the actual. I don't think they have it up on YouTube, do they? Because I know they showed some stuff here. Obviously, the fact that you can get spirits too is kind of cool with her. I like that mechanic. Yeah, so let's see. We're gonna go back a little bit so we can look at this. Okay, so you can get another ring slot, which kind of seems cracked considering ingenuity. 3 rings to increase plus what do you call it? The other thing on there was like increased bonuses gained from your rings as well, I think, right? Yeah, 25% increased bonuses gained on top of ingenuity. Like, that's kind of cracked. Oh yeah, I can throw the chat back. I just took it off for the thing. There you go. There's the chat. Ritual sacrifice is interesting. Being able to sacrifice minions to get their stuff, like a mini headhunter, but actually a skill, so you don't even have to run headhunter, which is interesting. I do like the fact that you can use it on yourself, and obviously you remove some life, but you literally get a just random modifier. So that could be interesting. What was the other one? I think the other Ascendancy, though, is better, at least from what they showed. Like I said, we'll have to wait till we actually see the notes and stuff on it. But I mean, this one looked a little bit better. Like, the fact that you can reveal weaknesses on bosses and stuff, and you get 50% more damage with them. So the way it works, obviously, is if you look at the top health bar, that like bright red area, that's the like 50% more damage we're getting on that. So it seems pretty good. Now, how many times can this occur? I don't know. Elemental Infusion, this is one I didn't get fully to read. So when you consume a power charge, trigger infused weapon to gain 2 cold infusion. Endurance Charge will give you 2 fire, and then Frenzy's 2 lightning. So I don't know what 2 infusion means. Does he say what 2 infusion means here? Let me go back and see.
Any charges you consume will infuse your weapon with elemental power, causing any projectile attacks to explode on impact.
So literally your elemental attacks explode, which is kind of crazy to think about for clearing. Like, I don't even know if you're going to need heralds at that point. Yeah, facts. Let me look. How's that one going to work? I have no clue how Calandra's Touch is going to work with reflecting and mirroring your ring. I don't know if it's going to reflect all 3 or how that's going to work, dude. No clue. I don't really know. Critical that northern accent is going to be so annoying. I wish they would add a button and mute character voices. I don't mind it that much. Got you, dude. What my
strike skill is as simple as
25% of excess chance to hit with attacks is converted to additional crit chance. I mean, that's nice.
It takes your excess accuracy and gives it.
It's nice. I don't really think we care about life last and stuff like that, being able to have another one. We'll have to look more into it. What else did they do? Obviously, Manifest Weapon. So, from what he said, you just get extra fire damage. Like, your stuff can, explode? Fire damage explodes on hit or whatever. Which is interesting. I think the main issue with Warrior, though, it's really hard to get zoom in with it. Being able to craft your body armor is cool. Obviously, I would assume this just take Ascendancy points, so your 8 overall points, depending on how many you put in there, is what you have left over to get the other skills. Obviously, Mercenary is really disappointing. Pin is okay, but it's basically what you're doing is you're going into 4 Ascendancy points to just get freeze. That's basically what is allowing Pin to do. It's just pin enemies so they can't move and they can't do actions. So it seems kind of like to use 4 Ascendancy points to get basically a worse version of freeze. I mean, this is interesting. I mean, allies in your presence gain added attack damage. And you can place multiple banners. I mean, placing multiple banners might have a cool interaction and a build potentially. But I don't know. It doesn't really seem insane. Like, compared to the other Ascendancy classes, I think definitely this is the worst one revealed. You have Lich, obviously, which seems pretty interesting. Considering that she has a thing where she can socket 1 non-unique basic jewel. So basically, once you do this, you get 100% effect of the socketed jewels. So definitely can be kind of cracked there if you have really good rolls on it. Obviously, you get more mana cost if you have no energy shield, so you'd want to play energy shield there. Okay, so cursed enemies killed by you or your allies in your presence have a 33% chance to explode. That's good, honestly. This is kind of like, I can't remember the POE 1 Ascendancy. It was the whatever witch that allowed you to do this. I forget the exact name, but honestly, it's a really cracked skill. Additional curse isn't bad. Now, if there's more like chaos skills, I think it'll be good, but I feel like right now in the current state, there's just not really a lot of chaos skills to really do a whole lot of chaos builds. That's like the main issue. Being able to raise spirits is really cool because you can literally just go and get whatever minion you want now. So I guarantee you there's going to be some type of enemy type out there that's super cracked that is going to be really broken, that's overlooked by GGG for like minion builds. What else? Obviously the Roa seems cool. I wonder how this is going to interact with Queen of the Forest and like move speed. Because if you're like 150%, just say like us, 140% move speed, is the Roa inherently take that? Does he have his own movement speed modifier that you can increase? Like that's some stuff I want to like kind of look at. We've had that monk staff. Yeah, I'll try to look for that. I mean, I think overall it's good changes, Ben. I mean, we have I think the big changes is one, the new class with the new weapon to use for other like classes, and then just the amount of uniques and support gems we're getting, plus the crafting changes now, being able to actually craft is like the big stuff. And then obviously you can't overlook the like endgame reworks too with the new maps and stuff. Here we have some of the new support gems. The new reset means you avoid the frustrating one death mechanics of Ascendancy bosses. I didn't touch upon that in reshoot. Might still be one attempt on Ascendancies. That is super scary. I mean, just think of playing the campaign. I bet there's some mob out there that we have gotten. Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, I feel like there is. So there's this one, which basically causes your... Let me go back a little bit. So supported attacks cannot cause bleeding. Supported skills consume bleeding on enemies they hit, creating 4 hemo crystals. You get a maximum of 20. So you can't bleed, but you create the crystals, and the radius is 1 meter. They detonate after 1.5 seconds. Are randomly created. They deal 8%. So deal damage equal to 8% of the expected remaining damage of the consumed bleed. So it could be cool for clearing. Very cool for clearing, some type of application there. I don't know how much it like really do though. All right, so what is this alignment? Supported skills indicate 1 of 4 directions. Indicated direction changes when an attack with supported skill. Skills matches indicated direction. Oh, I see at the bottom. There's a little arrow. So if you attack in the way that the arrow is pointing, you get 30% more projectile damage. Cool. Caltrops are interesting. Increases and reductions to thorn damage applied to hit damage with this skill. It maims on hit. Land 3 meter radius of projectile impact. Okay, creates 1 caltrops and deals 60% of your dexterity as physical damage on hit. Interesting. Interesting. So like a thorns build for this potentially. Obviously we have a bunch of more stuff here that I'm sure that we could look through and see. Well, we won't really know the like what they do. I think a new one's Sacrificial Lamb. I don't remember seeing that, but again, like there's a lot of new stuff in here we could probably look through, but we just don't know what they do. So is there really a point in trying to break down a figure? Probably not. So this is just minions have more size, damage, and life. I mean, good there. So first attack in sequence with supported skill inflicts hubble on you equal to 40% of your life. Second attack in sequence with supported skill has 30% more chance to critically hit. Third attack in sequence with supported skills deal 20% more damage. Interesting. We're going to get through the uniques. Profanity. Consume a corpse within 5 meters on use if possible. Supported skills deal 30% more cast damage if consuming a corpse. Interesting. Are considered crushing blows against ignited and fully armored enemies, fully armor broken enemies. Heavily stun enemies which are ignited and fully armor broken with supported skills will permanently intimidate them. Interesting. And then obviously a bunch more stuff there, and then they get into the uniques. So we're getting into the uniques now. I just think, yeah, I already read that. I would love this bleeding spec. Bleeding isn't good now, and it would need a major buff to be worthwhile. I see that. Just join new league nerfs. Volo, currently we know 0 nerfs. They did not talk about it at all, unless in the Q&A they're talking about it, but like in the reveal stream, nothing was said. There's no new axe. It's Huntress. We know the 2 sentences for her. I forget the names. We have a new sentence obviously for warrior, for mercenary, and for witch, and that's it for new classes. No new axe. Like I said, we don't know anything about nerfs. They said they're going to be like putting, I guess, the notes out or info about the stuff in the coming days leading up to the release. But as far as like full patch notes, we still don't have those, which sucks because I can't really make league start stuff until I know the patch notes, right? It's so hard to be like, okay, guys, you can run this build if I don't know what's nerfed. So I don't know really. It kind of sucks that they didn't put it out right now. I don't know when they're going to put it out, but yeah, that kind of sucks. But yeah, this is the new league. Okay, so here comes the new items. Let's skip through. So here is, let's go back a little bit. So we have the shield. This just gives a lot of reses. I mean, fire cast is good there. 1% damage is fire damage for 1% chance to block. So, I mean, could potentially get 30% damage extra fire damage if you have like a decent block chance or more. I don't really play block builds, so I don't really know how good this would be. So I'm just gonna have to skip that. If somebody in chat knows, let me know if that's cracked or not. Obviously, we get into the cracked staff here. Body armor, I mean, sorry. You get level 19 Herald of Ash, Ice, and Thunder. First off, that's cracked. We don't even have to run any of those. That frees up so much stuff in the actual skills. This might be worth running now as like a body armor for our Magnetic Salvo build. Plus, we have enemies in presence have no elemental reses, which is even more cracked, considering that there's no elemental reses, so we can just pen through all of that. Like this body armor seems absolutely insane. Like, this is very broken. And obviously, we can get this corrupted too, like potentially rolling higher Ellie res or something like that. I mean, this can be very broken. I think this is very, very good. And it's going to complement a lot of builds for sure. Yeah, they might, Ben. What else did they have here revealed? Yeah. So, Life and Mana class can be equipped in either slot. I mean, the belt, I don't think this is like it's not going to be a chase. It's like a, and belt. I don't think anyone is ever going to run 2 life flasks or 2 mana flasks at endgame. Like, I don't think it'll really do too much. And then we have like just kind of a slideshow of all new stuff that's going in. So we have some spear stuff here. So, physical fire damage, chance to cause bleeding on hit. Aggravating any bleeding with this weapon will also aggravate all ignites on a target. 10% chance to aggravate bleeding on hit, and cannot use projectile attacks. Which is interesting, so it's melee only with this spear. It could be good with bleeds. Like I said, we'll have to look at the actual skills. I don't think we got any info on the skills, did we? I can go back and look, but I'm pretty sure we didn't. If an enemy has no reses, does Curse then make them take extra damage? So, I don't know the exact wording on it, but I think if they have 0 reses and then you minus them, like if you have 0 reses and we throw just say connectivity down, or we have 30% lightning pen, I think that means we pen into the negatives. So they'll take, like, for example, if we have 33, just say 30% lightning pen and they're 0, that means they'll take 30%, like, more lightning damage. I think that's how it works. Unless they change something in this game. I mean, this isn't bad. I mean, infinite projectile parry range seems kind of good. But again, I hope that you can have more than just bucklers on for your offhand with spears. Kind of suck if you can only have bucklers. Unique charms. Again, I feel like charms just need a rework entirely. I don't like how they work. But I mean, if there's more unique charms that could potentially be more beneficial and help us, I'm not opposed to that. This one seems cool. There's like an AoE fire damage type thing whenever it procs, whenever we become ignited. So obviously we know new currency crafting stuff. Then we get into that, and that's pretty much it for like new skills and stuff and gear. That's how a level item in terms of build enabling. Yeah, for sure, Ben. We can go back and then we can try to look for the skills on the Huntress and try to see if they revealed anything. So yeah, I don't think they revealed anything like fully on terms of info on skills. So it kind of sucks there. Yeah, nothing. Okay. But I mean, we've seen some new skills. So this is Storm Spear, I think is what they said. So this is one where you hit and then it throws like the projectile lightning out. So this could be very cool in terms of like building potentially. So you hit, it throws projectiles out that then target enemies. This could be very interesting, potentially making a lightning spear build. I know some people have already started to theorycraft that. This is the one where you throw it on the ground and it detonates after a time. I feel like this one just gonna kind of suck though. It reminds me of Frost Bomb, but just on a spear. The only thing I don't like about it is the obviously time to detonation. You maybe could run that with like reduced duration or potentially. And that would help it kind of instant explode. But it seems kind of, I don't know, I feel like we'll have to obviously see gem info on it. It could be cracked, but yeah. So this is Blazing Spear, I'm pretty sure. If we go back a little bit, This I'm pretty sure is Blazing Spear. Yeah, I think that's Blazing Spear. Maybe I'm wrong. But obviously you have like the parry thing that you can do, and then like mark him to do more damage. And like you said, you do have the tornadoes you can throw out, and obviously the whirlwind type thing. You can kind of get whatever is on the floor, like element-wise, and then you can throw the tornadoes out that will encompass that. So, I mean, there's potentially a build going on where you could do tornadoes and stuff like that and just kind of run through the maps. Again, we don't really know how much the gem info does and what the damage is going to be on it with tornadoes and stuff, so it's, I don't know, it's hard to really say if it's going to be a viable thing to do. But I could definitely see potentially doing a build around this. I wonder if you do projectiles, if that would make the number of tornadoes increase or how that would work. But I feel like you would just go like projectile and then potentially increase duration just to have them up more. But yeah, I don't really know the damage of them. And then if you did that, I don't know how the bossing would feel on it either. You would have to have a bossing skill. They did a major overhaul threshold nerf, so you get shocked, frozen armor, broken, pinned more often. Well, that's fantastic. That's what we needed. So obviously there's one where you throw spears in the ground, and they encompass, like, just sitting there, and then you can blow them up. So this reminds me of literally just mines, like the fact that you can just throw them on the ground and then explode them. The lightning spear one, though, the where you throw them and it arcs, is interesting. But it feels kind of weak, though, the fact that none of these enemies are dead yet after getting hit like 5 times by it. Unless this dude just has craft weapons. But yeah, you can jump on them and explode them. So maybe there's a thing where we can nuke bosses off the rip by just throwing spears down, then bone storming, and then just jumping and leaping on it for that damage. That could potentially be a like thing that we could do for bossing. Okay, and then obviously we know that you can go ahead and like grab them as a companion and throw them on. Now, I don't think we're going to be able to do unique bosses. Same thing with like the, you know, witch thing where you can kind of raise specters. Blazing Spear might be cool. I don't know. The tornadoes look really cool. And the fact that we've seen so many here, hold on. The fact that we've seen so many tornadoes here leads me to believe, because here he does it, he only has 3, right? Well, 4. He has 4. When he does it right here, if we go down, he has what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, like 10 tornadoes or something. So like, but the duration of it seemed like it went away quickly, no? I don't know. We'll have to see, I guess. I mean, this just seems what? Storm Seer? And then Herald of Thunder, I think, on. This skill could be cracked for bossing. This right here. So, one, like, is this multi-hit? Is this fire damage? Is this physical? How much gem level info is this? Is this like Hammer of the Gods? In terms of like attack damage inherently on the gem. That could be a very good boss killer. Because it does seem like it has a very long cooldown. If you look at his T ability, you'll see the cooldown of it go. So it's a very long cooldown. So potentially Temporalis might be cracked on that. But yeah, I mean, we'll have to see on that as well. And then you just have the bunch of tornadoes there. And then we get back into the stuff that we already seen with like the blood boils, being able to throw them on to blow them up. And then obviously the extra slots and stuff. So we can honestly probably get back into the Q&A.
Many categories of things only for, you know, one thing part of a combo. So it's just like trying to come up with categories that can somehow span all of them. In, but
what do we think, guys? Do you guys think
ideally, we can achieve that? But yeah, it is
content update is like generally overall going to bring a lot of people back in? Are you guys going to play it, or do you think it's not enough?
Elemental and bleed is just probably often going to result.
You probably wouldn't do both elemental and bleed. You'd probably choose one or the other. But that's why we kind of try to make sure that, like, so you've got sort of linkages between them, though, right? Because it's like, for example, the thunderous leap detonates the spears that you do from the bleed thing. So it's like kind of like the idea there is to like it changes how that skill then has a use in the combo with the other one. So even if that skill itself isn't doing a lot of damage, it's triggering something that's taking advantage of all the damage bonuses you got for the for your bleed stuff. So that's kind of like the idea, is just to link all that stuff in a bit so that you can use the non like directly, you know, synergistic things in a kind of more synergistic way.
Yeah, that's if you didn't see that from the earlier trailer,
we don't know the
it's-
support
you
gems, so
spear them
it
with a
can
bunch
be
of
good.
spears and then
Yeah,
jump on
we don't know a
explode
lot of the
stuff
stuff
that's
like
amazing.
gem level info,
But yeah,
support
that's using elemental
gems.
skill like in another
you
way.
know,
as
Yeah.
detonator.
We have to wait on
but,
a lot of stuff.
and even more, you've got weapons.
Yeah,
swaps
but
as
what do you
well.
guys think?
Of course. I mean, there's all this
You
system
guys like the
we already-
changes, or do you think that it's not enough to bring you guys back?
Moisture.
spear skills with some other class that we failed to consider.
Yeah, I mean,
but,
so that's it. When we look at a new class, we typically like call it like
Avoided the word
Huntress is
shapeshift and
spears, but
druid completely.
Kind of not really. It's
Yeah, it's
a different
interesting that
weapon,
druid
but
isn't here.
Nothing in the Ascendancy
That's the theme, and they
prescribes-
said they were
Exactly.
both
So
pretty much at
effectively,
the same
we
state
take
of
great
like
pains to make
being
sure
completed.
That the Ascendancy never
So
mentions weapon types, that there's like that they're
and the
always
fact that they
generalized.
only
So,
want this
for
in early
example,
access
there's,
for
like,
what,
infusion
like
mechanic in the,
6
Amazon,
months to
it
12
just
months,
says
somewhere in
projectiles,
between
it
there,
doesn't say
like
spears, and the
we're
reason it
4
does that
months
is so
in,
that
and
you could
you've
make
only released
Amazon
one
use
class,
a,
and you're still
boat
missing
user,
what, like 5 other
and that's
ones,
all fine.
and a bunch of
So,
other
yeah, like,
ascendancies. It's very
effectively,
interesting.
like,
Open-ended.
They definitely need to
open-ended.
start
And
working,
honestly,
or else
I
this is
know
going to
that
be in
Mark,
early access for another
like,
year and a
does,
half.
Like, it makes the constraint a lot harder for how to design an ascendancy class when you have to think about
They should have
Oh,
added
it'd be
another
much,
class.
much
It's all
easier
right,
to
but
just
they
put a bunch of cool
didn't
spear
blow it
stuff
out
in
of the
there,
water.
but
Yeah,
right.
I feel that.
now only really. I mean, it was similar to the original
left.
POE 1.
I know what you mean, early, but I meant like in terms of everybody
everybody
else. It's not like kind of like when you put the update.
You could do something else, but no one else is playing that thing.
I'm in the camp that this game is.
It is easier to design.
It's pure 0.2 has more content than
certainly
most
less
AA titles.
flexible and
It
open
definitely
as
does. I'm not saying that the
different
game's bad.
combinations
I'm just
and
saying
so-
that in terms of how much
How
content
much
needs
do
to
you
be
have
put into the
consider
game still.
the different weapons
And
and the skills
they
and how they interact together. when
said they
you're
only
really
wanted
designing
early
it, or is it
access
just
to be, you know,
literally
6
so
to
many
12
possible
months.
combinations, you're just like, the players will take
They
that
need to
for it.
start getting the
I think
timeline
it's
up
relatively
quicker.
impossible to come up with everything, but certainly we
I
have to
don't know.
consider, like, you know, is this going to be broken with anything else in particular? And there just has to be certain rules for things about, like, you know,
Yeah.
how easy is it to apply this?
It kind of
stuff,
sucks.
how-
There's not too many
how
other
easy it is to
classes. Like
consume
you
this
have
stuff.
obviously,
And even then, it's
what
like,
you have
know, we often make
mercenary, you have a
mistakes
warrior
and
class, and then you have
so,
obviously a witch
you know,
class with the new
When he says
Huntress.
relatively impossible, it is actually impossible.
So
Actually.
But you know, I mean, yeah, I mean,
That's
just
relative.
but even just looking at the balance pass we're doing at the moment, right? I mean, there's hundreds and there's hundreds of things like that, you know, that we still. I mean, there's things that we could never honestly understand all of the different broken things that could possibly exist, and so it's like it really
yeah, I
does
feel that.
depend a lot.
I mean, there's a lot of good in-game
the,
changes too, right? So
You know, like on seeing reports and what people are doing on some level, right? But then I think that what will happen over time is obviously, like, you know, the game's still relatively new. We're still making
you know,
relatively big
good changes endgame
Over
wise.
time,
Power changes
the
is a
balance,
dub.
I think we'll get to the point where we're no longer have these like,
crafting
crazy
changes is
outliers
really
to the same
huge.
extent. And
So I think
it should
those
mean that
in
we get to
itself will
some
keep
sort of
people
relative
like
class
come back
parity.
and keep
Like,
playing
parity, what
for
I
at
mean
least
is,
a
like,
month.
People playing all the different classes
at the very
rather
least.
than focusing only on a few.
I would
as we get
think.
towards full release.
And then
yeah, right
obviously
now
the
it's
new
obviously very
class
skewed,
and stuff like
because,
that.
you know, there's
I just
certain
wish we had
broken
actual
things, so,
info on
you know,
stuff,
yeah,
like
just
because we don't really
the
know
balance over
the
time
full
will get
ascendancies.
there.
We don't know
It's
the
one of
gem
the
level
main
info on stuff.
goals
We
and
don't know
benefits
what's
of
being
early
fully
access
nerfed,
is just,
Yeah.
like,
and like
let's
what
get the
how
balance
big of
of
the nerfs
characters
are
right.
on the stuff that's being
And-
nerfed. You know,
Yeah,
or
This
changed.
patch,
which kinda
release was
sucks.
always going to have 1,000
I
problems.
just wish we had it right now.
10,000 problems, you know. The next one will have half that. The next one half that, and probably eventually it's going to be down to like here's only a few things going, you know, out of whack. There's always going to be something.
To be
Once
honest,
we
them
add too
releasing a
much
couple
content
days
for it to
after
even be
LE made me
controlled.
think there'd be a lot more content,
Like,
but it's okay, I
again,
guess.
there are too many uniques, too many supports, too many skills, and too many other changes.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think
or
overall it's a
any
really good
amount
amount of
people.
content,
Like,
but
you're
yeah,
talking
I
about a
think
matter of you'd have to
people
put in, like,
definitely were expecting
thousands
more.
and thousands of hours internally to find
Just
it
based on how
where-
long it's been
and
since
then
we
you
got
just play
content.
as it. There's so many people, it's going to take literally 5 minutes. So it is. It's very beneficial. And we're
It
lucky
could be
in that
in
regard that we get to
the
that
boat
level of
that
testing
we
and
were when I
feedback.
grew up.
And
There was like
on
100
such a mass
external
level,
beta tests in.
and
Jeez.
especially, you know,
True.
with things like, you know, Ninja and all of that, and other people being able to see it and discuss it more openly, we're just going to be able to iterate on it even faster. But yeah, every single patch you're going to see a pretty substantial change in what's going to happen here. Yeah.
Thanks for making the broken builds. And
Well,
players.
100%.
I mean, you mentioned support gems. It's like over 100 support gems added just this patch. It's it's already like so many, and with you doing a different weapon for each of the 16 classes.
Yeah, I
and
mean, there's going to be a lot
16
by the time we're
weapons,
done. But there kind of has to be, right? Because
that's what you made it. You made this system that you need so many supports to support.
You
Because
do.
otherwise, it's not going to work. Like, especially with this one support system, it's like, what have you guys done?
Well, I mean, look, this is why we have recommendations, and hopefully we can improve those as well.
Drop
and
this a little bit.
Continue to get that better.
One other float 0.2 is
Certainly room
in
for
8 days
complexity
away, so
a
we
little bit
could
out of
be
control here. So the
revealed then.
recommendeds are going to
More could be
become more
revealed.
and more important.
I don't think anything more is
We
going to
need
be
to make
revealed,
sure
Kip.
those
I
are very
think
much
everything
right.
that has been revealed already, like
Especially
everything's
with
going to be in the
players,
game,
you
it's
can
going to be
find
there for
some of those
content.
recommendations down the line as
I
well.
would
Some
love
cases,
to have the
in some
notes
cases,
though.
some
Like
stuff is
obviously, there's
probably getting
nothing
used.
for
the thing with the
notes.
recommendations, though, is that,
We
they
don't know a
can't
lot
really,
of stuff in
take into
Ascendancy
account what
wise. Like
we've
we can
got
go back
in.
and
The
look through
recommendations
it,
have to be just sort of generally good,
right?
but not
Like
really
it just
take
to
into
me,
account
I
context.
want to look at the stuff. I
That
want
kinda means
to
they're a bit
just
more simple.
look
Like,
at the
recommendations are gonna
gems.
be
I
more
want to look
simple
at the
than what
attack damage
populations
multipliers. I
are
want to
gonna
look at
Feels like
the
at some
full
point you need something
sentences
with a
without
nested
being
recommendation
locked
system. It's
behind
like, well,
stuff.
I'm
You know,
kind of
like
doing
there's
lead
only 4
stuff, so
nodes
you
we
go
know.
to
You
the
know,
side,
like
you put the
I want to look at
lead
everything.
I'm less certain about that because I kind of don't want to get into the thing of actually telling you what your build should be. Yeah,
Because
that's,
obviously,
just a
low
little bit
key,
down there.
Maybe
right now
single
between
sorting
Huntress
methods for the
and
show you all the
Lich,
gems.
that's the 2 that I'm between right now for like
There's a lot
creating
that
my
are only in there
first
that are never
character on.
recommended right at this
There
point.
Because obviously we don't have
are,
anything new for
there are.
Ranger.
It's gonna be
Warrior,
interesting.
I don't really like the Warrior style,
Stuff.
and then Mercenary just kind of the new class looks eh.
So,
Maybe there's
another
some stuff in
thing
the
that
Ascendancy
you
we haven't
managed
seen that
to
really makes
challenge
it
yourselves
crazy, but
and
for
I
right
always
now
wondered,
it doesn't look that
why did
insane.
you do this to yourselves was Spectres. So originally those were planned to be.
I'm really
in
sad about
obviously
Sword
Spectres
and
aren't
Daggers
like
not being
anywhere, so
in,
it's-
but expecting it till
hey, let's just
0.4.
give players
Yeah, I thought we were
access
getting
to
swords
so
from
we
the
made
fact that
so
the
many
Warrior
monsters.
Ascendancy
Yeah.
literally
We're talking about
has,
all the broken, there's gonna
if
be
we
some
go to
broken
it,
in there, I promise
literally
you.
has a sword that he's
There's some
crafting.
stuff we have to change.
Like, is this not a
Uh,
sword? Like, why are we not getting swords in?
They've done, but I mean, effectively, what the time between.
So,
early
yeah, it's a
access
little
and
interesting
this
there.
was like, okay, let's actually attempt at least to do a balance pass of this and like see if there's anything that's going to be a problem and then adjust numbers
Yeah, but now you
accordingly.
got to account all
Yeah.
those support gems on all those monsters.
Yeah, so
Yes,
Lich is
well,
looking interesting because I kind of do want to do a Chaos build now that I'm thinking about as well that they might be hitting Heralds a lot
what the hell's that gonna
for
do?
clearing.
Yeah, like, it's
Lich might be
impossible
kind of cool
until we
with
know,
the
but yeah,
obviously
like, look,
explode
there's probably
for clearing with the Chaos.
definitely some
Do-do.
dark secrets lying in what kind of spectre
that,
support gems are going to do.
me
monsters
see.
have skills now. It's not like POE 1 where it's
Exactly.
like just a bunch of zombies. just
So you and your allies and your
like,
presence have Unholy
everything
Might.
pretty much has a skill now.
Well, not on low
But,
mana.
the great
Lose
thing
5%
about it
mana
is
per
we got to
second.
leverage all that work
Interesting there.
for the beast taming as well.
So now I wonder if you could
So,
run
and of course, the
Lich
difference there is
without
that you
doing
also
minion
get
build,
mods from the thing that you
or if it's
tamed.
gonna just be nothing but like a minion
that's gonna
Ascendancy.
be,
Or is ground effects.
yeah, exactly.
On death explosions.
Because
No,
I do
got a
like
whole
those. The
nother
curse,
ruckus
they
of,
explode.
potential
That is
interactions.
really nice.
So we'll see what happens.
But
there.
like I said, I just feel like we don't have a lot of
Specific
like
player versions of those
chaos
things,
damage skills to really
or
make
specifically
like
when
a
you,
chaos build work.
tame the beast so that they're not
Unless
sending
they're adding
spamming
new
skills
stuff
in
that they
your
didn't tell us
hideout
about.
and all
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Yes. So,
But also, like, there
Ending
actually
the
are
Druid
player
is worth as
versions of the mods that Res can get, like, so that we can balance them if we need to.
yeah.
Aren't they adding the
some
Druid?
of that
I
stuff
mean,
was
Kip,
actually- would
this
be
is the
within
reveal
rules of
content for the
itself, so,
stream. They did not
basically,
reveal
we
Druid.
still
So if
have
they're
it sort of
adding
work-
Druid
it mostly
and
works
they
the
didn't
same way,
reveal it
it'll just
on
be
the
done as
reveal
tweaks
stream,
to
that'd be
the
very
player
weird.
versions. And the same works as well for the.
I'm going generally with Spears.
what
Oh
we call
god.
the ritual sacrifice.
Headhunter.
Yeah, right, right.
Headhunter and stuff like that. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's player versions of the monster mods for that.
Unholy
This new
Might.
addition to these
If I
things
go ahead
that
and
felt
look,
like
I
pre-existing
think
stuff
that's what it
like that
was.
as well. Yeah, that's insane.
There's
I don't know
a,
if I can bring it
new-
up here.
Probably should let people discover it. There's a new unique
on.
charm that possesses you with a random Azmerian spirit as well, and so you get the demons and the stats, and those technically also have player
Is there none
versions
for
too,
POE
but
2 right now?
actually not to necessarily make things worse, to make things better, because
I mean, there's that.
monsters are balanced to fight.
I mean, there's this in the
player
POE.
life
Look, this
and
is
monster
POE.
life, not in the same universe. So actually, what we've done is all the things you steal.
And this is
that are
POE. This is not
monsters
POE
and
2, but in
monster
POE,
skills,
it makes your physical
like
damage
the
converted to
explosions
chaos,
and the
and you have
summoning
25%
bears and all that, we've
25%
actually
chance to
specifically
wither.
balanced them
But for
way
POE 2,
up
I
to
don't
be
actually
more
know.
effective against
I
monsters.
thought I did, but I
So
don't
when you
want to
steal
say
them,
it, and
they're,
it's
much more
wrong.
powerful,
So
just so they're not just tickling monsters and doing 1% of their life kind of thing.
It was mentioned in chat actually.
I don't know if
the
we can
whole, like,
actually go and
Azmerian
look
modifiers
at
and things
Path
on
to
stuff,
Building,
that wouldn't
maybe?
that wouldn't transfer over with the companion system, surely.
No.
I don't know if you guys can see this or not.
A little bit too far,
Yeah,
perhaps
yeah.
a bit unhinged.
We actually had to because this is
Configuration.
certainly a benefit once you have
Unholy Might. Here we go. This is
taped
the
the
path
beast.
of building
It's
2, right?
not treatable.
Grants 100% of
And
physical
people might
damage converted to
immediately be like,
chaos
"Oh, so
damage
that's
and
sad."
25%
Well,
chance to
the
apply
issue
with it.
is, and as much as you might want some of that, I'm
So,
sure you're not gonna be
low
carrying around a
key,
whole
it
bunch of
might
tame
actually be
beasts
kinda
in your inventory
cracked.
all the time, so that every
Yeah.
single time you find a good rare, all of a sudden you have
Because
to
all
go
your
and-
physicals
So
converted to
maybe finding a
chaos.
rare would become a
And
thing.
you can just run with
Exactly,
chaos
make this
stuff.
annoying in order to make the most money.
That might actually be kind of cracked. And then you have obviously on curse
Then we also
potentially and
have so
just
that as soon as you
explode them.
activate a beast, then no one who comes into the instance after
Yeah,
that
so
is allowed to
you
tame it.
can't do
So
any,
you
like-
can't TFT the it's like a whole like there's like a lot of thinking about
Oh
that
my
stuff in order
God.
to make it so that yeah.
Weird with the bow.
Yeah, yeah.
Hey, nothing wrong with
Yeah,
that.
It's like,
I mean, I think Kip, the content overall is good. Like, I think they tried to go more for base content or replayability rather than new stuff. Like, we're getting endgame changes, a lot of good crafting stuff in to actually be able to craft now. Recombinations, which is another crafting thing, where you can take two really good items that have good stats on them, that maybe have two bad stats on each, and you can combine both items and try to get both of the really good stats on each of them onto one piece. So that's really cool. I mean, you know, tower changes, new maps, endgame changes to how you do maps, and I think that's really where they're trying to focus on. But I mean, overall, I do think that this is good. Obviously, I think people were expecting a lot more because there was a lot of the druid rumors and stuff. You know, like, oh, they're gonna have druid, oh, they might have the new axe because they were doing the race leagues, and you know, like, people kind of got really hyped on a lot of stuff, which, you know, I think was kind of out of their scope.
I mean, look, my ideal situation is that you're using it sometimes and not using it other times. Like, if you're using
It could be epic. It could be. I mean, we'll see. It costs expedition currency, so expedition is going to be worth more now. But I think overall, it could be. It could be decent.
Just a cool fantasy, like there's stuff like that I just want to get in. And
We'll
it's like,
see.
you know, look, if it doesn't work
But I
later,
think
we'll
honestly,
do
it's
it,
just
but
better
it's
than not
just
having it, right?
But, you know, like I want something like that to exist. You know, we believe that it is.
Maybe revered.
As much as we can. As much as we can.
You sound very convinced.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's balanced. It's balanced.
Well, as I said earlier, you can probably get builds that get to the point of parrying indefinitely. So you can.
I feel that, Kip.
Theory,
Yeah.
you can probably get to the point of riding
Sure.
a rower indefinitely.
Sure,
right?
sure.
Again, enough evasion and enough.
Yeah.
I will say it is kind of crazy that the fact that it's been like 4 months, right, and we're getting our first content update, and we're still missing a bunch of characters. So just say they want to have a year of early access, they only have what, 8 months left to go ahead and pump out the other remaining, what, 5 classes or whatever it is, the remaining other ascendancies, the remaining 3 acts. Like, if they keep at this pace, we ain't getting it. You know, they're not releasing at the end of this year. You know what I'm saying? So they definitely need to pump up the timing. But it's interesting because they said that they're going to pull some of the team off to do POE 1's new league because they've been pushing that back for like 9 months because they had the team working on POE 2. So that means it's probably going to be another 4 or 5 months until we get any other content for POE 2 because they're pushing, you know, half their team for POE 1 now. You know, like, I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see what they're going to do, to be honest.
And then there are heaps of passives for like if you have a companion, like companions while they're in your presence and all that kind of stuff. Heaps of that stuff.
Yeah, I feel like it.
Yeah, I saw you guys remade the minion damage. Is player damage.
I mean, maybe, but I don't know. They've been doing this for a while, so I can't really say. Yep.
Nodes. I was like, oh, that looks like
Yes,
I'm gonna
that
take
too.
that.
Well, that's the
I read a post from a supposed employee claiming they're behind by a year at least. I mean, I could see that at least.
Huntress is more like
For sure.
want your one powerful minion
With the POE 1 stuff. I just think that they thought that they could run two, like they could run POE 1 and POE 2 at the exact same time without like any without any type of delays or, you know, getting behind on one game, when in reality it's just not possible because you can't break a brand new game and then have half your team on an old game and expect to keep up and releasing content every 3 to 4 months with a new game. You know, like,
and does
I don't know.
the rower then kind of do a bit when
I
you're
think
not-
honestly
it
they
can
just needed to
attack,
let
but I mean,
POE
as long
1
as it has
die
a
and
huge
just focus on
damage
POE
source,
2.
It's certainly better
to be
to
honest,
stay at ranged.
in my
It's-
opinion.
It's not the most durable of birds. For sure.
but it acts as a distraction. Maybe
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
some
I
support
mean, it's a
gems.
minion, right? Like it
can do
attacks
things with.
things and does stuff.
Yeah, you can support it with minion supports to make it more durable and all of that. So
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, I mean, there's
We'll
the-
see what they do.
there's
I
one that's
mean,
like
I'm liking it regardless. We're going to be playing. We're going to be grinding, obviously. I'll be making League Starter guides. I'll be doing a bunch of content and videos, you know, all that good stuff.
So that's
I was thinking about going and making like a whole breakdown, which I might actually still do potentially as a content.
So how many are you aiming for? Kind of in general, is this about really like filling that roster
Well,
out?
we want to have
Can you smell?
every base type have a unique
Outside of boss uniques.
outside of boss uniques. But we want every
on
base
top.
type to have a to
But
have
I mean, they already have their stuff out, and then you know,
and
to say it
so
takes me
that's
2
the
hours
initial
to
goal.
get stuff out,
One
you're
of the
gonna
things,
have
of course, that we had
everybody's
was the
video out on the
problem
stuff.
with early access is
So
that
at the end of the day,
because of
I don't
the
even know if it's
way,
worth doing that. You feel
because
me?
when we were designing uniques, we kind of designed them.
I might just
in order from base type up, just literally because that's the way
don't know.
like spreadsheets.
This kind of sucks that there's no.
It's like we ended up with all the low level uniques
There's no
first,
patch
kind of
notes out
before
or
the
anything.
higher ones, and it was kind of it's like we didn't see that mistake coming. Like it was kind of
Because that was my
stupid,
whole
because, like,
plan was to like take today, right, and probably tomorrow, and just start trying to get League Starter stuff out. But we don't know
when you don't
half
very
of the
many
stuff
in-game uniques,
that's going to be nerfed.
So yeah, this time we're like
or
okay,
changed,
we really need to make sure
or any of the
in-game
stuff
uniques are
actually,
a thing.
because we don't have any of the
There's
notes
way
out, so it's
more of
like
them that, so the
can't
focus
really start
is
making
on,
stuff like that.
making sure there's lots of cool stuff to find. You know, lots of really chase things that you can get. You know, it's not.
So you discovered the sort order changing in the
Yeah,
spreadsheet.
that it does help.
Mhm.
But so yeah, effectively, yeah, like you should this it should be a lot better, and like there's lots of cool stuff there.
Yeah, I could see
I'm
that,
just gonna
man.
keep going with that. By
Yeah,
the
yeah,
way,
of
like
course. Yeah.
100 now, 100 later, 100 next. You just keep going until well, kind of honestly, we never really stop making uniques. Like
yeah.
especially anyone familiar with Path of Exile 1's history, as every single expansion since the dawn of time has had new uniques added to
What
it.
are the
so,
chat saying?
You know, there's a lot there, and there's going to be a lot here eventually as well. So yeah.
Stop
Let's
the
talk about
glaze. Start the
idea of,
Q and
like,
A is
basically
crazy
being
in
like,
chat.
1x, you know. That's
Also, make sure you guys are looking
Where
at
do
your
you
drops,
guys-
by the way.
What do you guys want unique?
I think you should be able to get drops from my channel as well. I probably should have put that on Twitch, but obviously make sure that you have drops on. Where is
I mean,
it?
there's always a tension because we want
Right here, that you can get your
rares to
executioner's
still matter,
finisher and
we
stuff
don't
like that.
want it to
Make sure you watch for 2
be
hours.
only full of
Should be able to
uniques.
get it from the main channel,
so
and I
it
think you
really
should
is
be able to
like
get
the
it from pretty
role
much
can-
anyone that's streaming, including me. On there with drops, I should have drops enabled on the channel. So
Two things. One of them is when you find them, they should be powerful for a little while.
Yeah.
But
we'll
then
go full
also
mode and we'll
they
let the
have
chat
a,
roll there so we can see it. I wish I could get the top
some
off.
kind of
but
combo thing that you might be able to do with them at Endgame, but we don't always know exactly what that might be. Like, I mean, we've got sort of ideas, obviously, but it's like we don't necessarily design them to say, okay, this unique definitely has like an in-game build that's going to be actually strong to do with it, and that's because you're kind of putting in things where, you know, later on some other mechanics.
I think
come
what they
along,
should have
something
done,
happen,
Ben,
then
and
you
here's what
find
I
an
think
interesting
they should have
interaction,
done.
and that's when
Path of
the unique
Exile
kind of comes
2,
into its
they
own.
should have
I mean,
never
that's the same as, like, magic
brought it
cards,
into early
design
access 4
philosophy,
months
that kind
ago.
of stuff. You just put it
They
in,
should
like,
have
kind of
waited
weird
until
stuff,
now,
sort of, you know, maybe you find some
brought it into early
obviously it
access
can mean that, like, you know, when people see
with
a
the
unique
content
coming
that it
in,
had,
they dismiss
right?
it,
Whatever.
but then
So
one
this
day
way they
might also be
could
paying vast amounts for it if it becomes
potentially
really
even
good.
maybe even
So,
wait another month or
but I
two,
feel
get the
like the
POE
game
1
has
league
to
out,
have
and then
that
get
stuff
everybody
in it. It's important
on
to
this for
feel
the
like
next like
there's
4
lots
to
of
5
interesting
months,
ways to
and
experiment
then
with
really
things,
work
you know.
on it with
It's
the
like
content they
the
have
feeling of
now,
being the
right?
first
So this
person
way
to
they can
discover
kind of
something
get a head
interaction is an
start.
amazing thing,
They're
and
getting new
see something
content
that,
and new
like,
stuff out
feels
with all the new
smarter. Like, you know,
classes,
like, you
etc.
if we
I think
don't
they kind of
have
released a little
uniques that
too
just take
early,
chances
and then
to
they
do
tried to
weird
go
shit,
back
we'll never have that kind of stuff happen.
and get the POE 1 stuff out. They were like, oh fuck, we can't get POE 1 out because we're behind now, and we still got to get POE 2 content out. So we need to pull teams from POE 1, and you know, it's just like
Well,
You
yeah,
knew
some-
what
they
you
were too
doing with that
ambitious.
Herald unique.
I should have just waited like another 4 to 5 months and then released
Charm and-
like now
So, but that's
POE
the
in
thing,
early
aiming
access.
for the. Honestly, there's someone said the other day they're like, a successful unique is one that should be divisive, and I was like, I agree for the most part, but not every unique should fill that role. Some should just be clearly, this is powerful, I want it for sure. It is going to be on my build.
chase.
And others are like, what can I do with this now? And then others are just like, we don't know if anyone's going to do
Oh, I
anything
agree
with
with
this.
you.
Throw
I
it
agree
in.
that
And
it's
sometimes
not
it
good to
doesn't
do
get
that.
anything happen with it for 3 years. But we don't know that necessarily. It's like, let's just take an experiment and throw it in there and let the players figure that out.
Yeah, I feel like you're with a lot of these uniques, you're designing a question. You're just like,
Well,
I'm gonna put.
I'm kind of
That's a little weird.
at a
Maybe
dead
something
end
to
in
figure out.
terms
Well,
of what
think
I
it's
should
Tracy
be doing
called it, it's a
for
puzzle
content.
piece, right?
Yeah.
It's just a piece in the puzzle. You put it
Because
there.
I wanted to
and
release at
maybe
least like
someone
2 to
will
3
complete the
videos this
puzzle,
weekend on
half
League
of it,
Starters, but I don't
maybe
think I
not.
can really
And then others
do
where it's just
that.
like, yeah, this is powerful. Like,
So we get patch
there
notes,
are
at least on the
definitely
existing.
chess uniques.
Maybe I can make
Yeah,
potentially
Huntress
Huntress
is
stuff.
definitely-
So
But again, we
on-
don't know anything
on
about
chase
Huntress.
uniques, and we've obviously had some like pretty crazy ones so far. where do they want to be in terms of like how hard they are to
Fudge!
get players? Because at that point you do need
Right.
to consider like how
So
expensive they end up being.
it's really
That point
tricky.
you do
So
have-
whenever we're looking, so if there's a unique that's broken, I guess there's two responses, right? One of them is make it rare enough that you only get the brokenness after the point when you're at the point where you're supposed to get that, right?
Yeah.
Which is to say, like, you know, post pinnacle boss type,
You
like a
win.
late level of character
Yes.
development, right? And then the other response would be nerf the actual unique, and it honestly is a case by case. Like, you know, so I think that like Temporalis, for example, actually got nerfed in both ways.
So, Maddie-
the actual unique
Yeah,
was
it should have
nerfed
been
a little bit,
0.1, I think.
Although I don't believe it's maybe as much as what players might expect. But then also you've got okay, whatever. But also we
I
we
guess
have
we'll just
made that
watch
one
this
rare.
and then
It's
go
still
from
pre-
there.
It's still pretty crazy.
Oh,
in
it's
the
still
right
crazy
sense,
for sure,
yes.
for sure, for sure.
Let me
But
know
the
if
thing
you
is, like,
stand
you
up or
want
not.
to chase stuff, right? So therefore, you don't want to just go nerfing everything into the ground the moment that it's
Yeah.
good. Therefore, that one becoming rarer, I think, was the right answer there, because it was way too common.
Yeah.
Due to the
We had also the issues with I mean, there were three real
I think what he was
issues.
saying,
One is
Revered, is they
darkness
shouldn't have
at one
released
point
early access
bypassed
4
on
months
the
ago. They
loss.
should have waited until
So
now and then
all of a sudden
released
a no-hit run. It was just a no-hit run.
with
Yeah.
You had
like
guard
not the
bypass,
endgame changes. I'm saying
on
like the
loss,
content,
so
right?
once
Released
again, a no-hit run, a no-hit run.
with what it
And,
was back in
then
0.1.
there
So
was
this way they
just
could have
like,
had
well,
what is
how can anything
like
get
what is
used if you
releasing
can
now,
kill
like at
literally
least with the
everything on your
classes
screen
and stuff
at
and
one
gems,
point, right? So
ready
those
to
three
go. So this way, like
problems,
2
and so
months
as the,
after
like,
release, they could have
the
released that,
balance issue
and
of
then
not
you know
everything
kind of got a head
surviving
start
for things
on working on
surviving
other
for more
stuff
than one frame
potentially.
due to a
That's what
subset
I
of
kind
builds,
of mean.
and those other two things go away, it becomes
Because I feel like
a lot rarer in
0.1
itself.
released, people loved it,
I
got
mean,
the
it's
end game, and they were like,
much harder to acquire,
really not a whole
require
lot
very
here,
specific and
you know,
ideally high skill gameplay,
et cetera. I'm gonna wait.
And then there's just
Then
like,
obviously it
well,
takes them
it
4
also
months to
was
release
just
new
too common,
content.
the relic,
Yeah.
that you
And
would-
then
I mean, the expectation
you know,
was
how
that,
much longer is it
because
going
this is a
to
hard
be for
challenge, most of
even
the
more new
time we'll
content? Another
try
4 to
that will
5 months,
fail.
you know.
The reality is once you
I think
get
that's
the
what people
ability
are,
to
like,
do it, you
Ben
just
was
trade
kinda
for that
getting
thing
at.
and get it every time.
Yeah.
So that's kind of meant that the
Printing.
rarity kind of didn't work like we thought, and yeah, now that's
Yeah.
that should.
But
be
yeah, I
easy.
mean,
Like,
without
like-
feedback, we
like,
wouldn't be getting any
again,
of this
for the
update.
POE
So
1 players
I get what you're
comparison,
saying.
Like, it was far more common than original Sin. Which
Yeah,
was
yeah, having a
the
new
same
league to
role
start
in
in is
POE 1's version
huge.
of the Sanctum, just to
Is
give us
absolutely huge.
some sort of comparison.
It's just
And
much
it-
easier to actually
yeah, yeah.
reliably do it.
Yeah, and it shouldn't have been that much more common.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I thought I was telling people not to donate
So
stuff.
crafting really surprised me. You guys announced. I thought we'd make
Game dev, it
one
takes a
more
couple
thing,
months to
maybe
build
do
out a
something with
character
essences or
and
something,
skills.
but we've got essences
Sometimes
coming
me.
out a lot.
I get
more,
that,
it looks
Revered. Yeah, I
like.
get that. I just
Your
think
bar,
it's
you can
hard
get
Greater
because
essences- greater
people.
essences
I need to
are
actually
much
do
more-
this.
gonna be
Hold
much
on.
easier to get. One thing we didn't mention in the video is that like omens are way more common because I believe you made the change. There's an omen in every.
I think it's just
Common, right?
because
Yeah, than every
Sweet.
thing. So like you've got stuff like that. Like we
they're working
certainly
on POE
knew
1
that we
and 2 at
needed
the
to
same
do
time,
more
so
with
they
more
have to
crafting
have
stuff. So we're
they have
kinda
to
like,
basically
let's just make
split
sure we're at
half
least
their
adding,
team, right?
you know, 3 or 4
That's the
things,
issue.
like new things.
Because right now they have everyone working on
Every
POE 2,
ritual will
but
now
now
have
they're
one
splitting
at
since they have
least one
0.2
omen
basically
in it.
ready. They're going to
So you can
split
know upon finishing
and
a
take
ritual, like,
you know
what
the
is the
POE
omen
1
gonna
team
get
off
and
POE
hope it's
2,
a good one,
put them
and
back
hope
on the
it maybe
POE 1
most
to make
often
the
it's
new
not,
league.
but, you know.
But yeah, the greater
So,
essences, obviously,
I just don't know how
yeah,
that's gonna
role-playing
work for the
things might be
future.
much more common, you
Because
know,
obviously
sources
content
of them
updates and stuff are
with
going to be.
everything like that. So that'll be happening more.
If you think about it,
And
it
then,
should
of
be
course, there's
slower
the
because you're going to have less
improvements
devs
to
and
things
people
like the
working
runes,
on
we've
it.
got higher level mods that you can
I
get
don't
from
know
them,
how
there's,
it's going to
like,
like
war
go
runes,
moving
there's, like,
forward.
yeah, like I mean, we just wanted to expand the set and having
Maybe
the kind of,
that's
like,
why they kind of split it though,
yeah, the
low key.
niche
Maybe
mods
Druid
that
and
can
stuff
get
was
and
ready to be
things like just-
released,
yeah, just
but
need
they
more
maybe
options.
were like, you know what,
And,
let's just split.
Yeah, it's sort of
And
interesting
maybe
because,
have like 2 months from now,
some people
we'll
say,
release
oh,
a
if
new
you don't have
content with
crafting
Druid and
in,
other
you know,
stuff.
in
Since we
POE2
have it
because we
ready,
don't have a
but that
crafting
means the
bench.
POE 1
But it's
team
like we
can
actually have
work
a
on
huge number
that,
of crafting options,
and we're kind of
the
ahead on
crafting being
POE
good kinda
2.
comes down to, like, how many
Maybe
of you
that's what
can
they did.
create
Why didn't
systems
they
are
didn't
there and
release
how they
Druid right now?
interact. But we just have to be really careful because, you know, like, you don't want to get to the point where ground items no longer matter. Like you, and I think POE
Which is
1
cool,
kind of
but it kind of
recently did
sucks
get to
for
that
us
point
though,
for
because I want
various
all the
reasons,
content.
where like people aren't caring about what's on the ground nearly as much. So we still want to make sure with every change we're making that, you know, they still use the ground stuff, that you're still excited for things on the ground, like, and so that's like a really careful balancing act because they do directly contravene each other. Like the better stuff you can craft.
I
the
get,
less you
yeah.
go down
The one
some
thing I
stuff.
wish though
It's a
is
really
they
sort
would
of
just kind of be
subtle balancing
transparent a little
act,
bit
but,
and just be
yeah, I
like, you
think
know,
that the
hey
subtle
guys,
better,
don't
yeah,
worry, we already have,
will
you know, like
definitely push things
other
in a way where you
content
feel like there's more smart
pretty close to
things
being
that you can do
finished and
to
stuff like
kind of
that, you know, to like give us a
Yeah, well,
heads
I
up,
think
like,
done
okay, it's
right,
not going
what
to
you're
take
doing
another
is
4
making
months for
sure
another
that
content
the
update,
ground
right?
items do matter with
Like,
each of
something
those
like that.
systems. So you,
Exactly.
you had that fundamental change where you can't just turn an item back into a white item.
Exactly, and that's very important. One of the biggest ones.
You
I
know,
think. And,
that's
that
what I
kind
kinda
of
wish.
unlocks the ability
They were a
to
little
do
bit more
more.
transparent
And so
on
the great
things.
thing about the socketables as a crafting
Just so the
system
players
is
know,
they don't
like,
compromise
okay,
the ground at
it's not going to take as long.
because they
We have stuff,
you know, they're on
etc.
top of the stuff that you can get on the ground. So
Because I think that's the one thing that
that's
really
very good. But when it
cuts
comes to
games
the
is
kind of the
not
base
being transparent
mods,
enough on their
we do want
player
to
base.
retain, like, you know, that an item has. We do want to retain.
Because people
for the
right now are
most
like,
part,
why isn't there
the
druid?
kind
Why
of
isn't
thing
there
like
this?
those-
Where's the
that part
axe?
of the item
Why did they,
generation
you
is
know,
random.
like,
It's just that,
what's going
and
on,
it's
etc.
just that on
Right?
top of that, you get
Where
all
if
the
they were
bonus
more
and things
transparent,
that
like,
you
hey,
can
you know,
add
we
in
have
addition to.
druid
And when you
close
do
to
it that way,
completion,
it
we
works
just had to
really
fix
well.
some
So
stuff,
socketables
blah blah
work really
blah.
well as
We
a
have other
crafting
stuff
for that reason.
being close
so
to
on
completed.
that topic, we've had
So expect
this,
others, you know,
talking to
the
you,
contents.
like you're always
Pretty
saying
soon
to
in the
me that,
future,
like,
something I feel like
this
would
room
just kind
system
of
is our
relieve
crafting
people.
bench, but
Yes.
players
A little
don't
bit
keep
of, like,
asking
their
for a
worries.
bench anyway.
Right.
So obviously there's like a branding issue or a
100%.
functionality
So
gap
it
here.
is funny because I was actually saying the other day that, like,
I feel that
if
weird.
we had literally had that
I can
system
see
be
that, yeah, I
identical,
can see
except
it.
that the way it was themed was that there's a crafting bench
Become
below you
what
and
they
craft
call
mods on the
content per
items.
quarter. I think will be
Like,
okay. Yeah, I
which
think it should be fine.
functionally the same. I think, and
With
require
five more classes and
materials
3
that are
more acts
effectively the
remain, I
runes
wonder
that
if
you
2
get.
classes they'll
Like,
do
then
a
I feel
class
like
with
you
an
would
act
be thinking
potentially.
that we've got a
You also
crafting
got to
bench,
think
but
in too, right?
ultimately that is-
There's
that-
5
that-
new
that the rune
5 new
systems, the
classes.
socketables are what replaced the
Each
crafting
class
bench
is supposed to
that-
have
that
3
we would start
ascendancies.
crafting bench.
So
I
right
guess
there,
it
you're
must
missing
have
what
also
15
been, like,
ascendancies
that initial
basically,
kind of
and then
output of them was,
the remaining what
just not as many options.
X
as-
3
100%. So that is it.
ascendancies,
And that's
4
because they
ascendancies, or
were
something like that.
relatively late in development,
That's
so now we're just sort of
supposed to be
expanding
out
that.
with the existing
We'll continue
classes.
to add more socketables probably with every release.
So
right?
what? I don't know, like
we'll add
19
more categories
ascendancies,
of
20
them, we'll do different
ascendancies,
things. It's like
technically in
expanding
total.
the kind of type of
You're
mods, because
we're
there is a
missing right
thing
now at
where,
3 acts.
It's the more like in the
And a
base
bunch of skill
mod
gems.
pool for items, they can only be things that are really fundamental, and so anything that's kind of out there, we don't want to put in the base mod pool because then you end up with this sort of situation where you get items and they've got random shit. You
Yeah,
don't care
I
about.
wouldn't
Like,
expect the acts
crafting
until
is where
release as well.
Is where you want to have all of the kind of stuff that's like very.
But I would
basic
assume
stuff.
they would want every
And so
class in
adding more
Ascendancy
mods
out
to that
before
pool so
release,
that
so
you
this
can
way
do that
people can
is
play it and try to get through all the bugs and
why is
the
it
OP
that
stuff
you can't
and the game breaking
socket and
stuff,
rune something?
so they can have it kind of balanced.
Attack weapons, for example.
Well,
It was more just a choice for asymmetry where we just wanted
Yeah.
these things to feel different. There was also just like a little bit of a like in the future.
Yeah, for sure.
We had some system where we can do something else there, and so just not having everything be completely identical. Much like how the quality on those weapons works differently, where it affects the skill as opposed to just base damage.
I do think it is something that we should be probably looking into sooner rather than later, though.
Yeah.
Because, yeah.
Yeah, because the asymmetry things, it's good to have like not everything.
So I do
is
wonder
super
when they're getting
homogeneous,
Q and A
but,
though. They've just been kind of
because we're
talking
about
like
the
random
importance
stuff
of
for a
it
while. I feel
being
like,
that extra layer
you know.
of control over your items, which you just don't have if you're doing spellcasting.
but I do wonder what this
When
content
Huntress
update, how
is
much
theme it that way for the
like breadth
Okay.
of
Alright.
life is going to be
You forced my
breathed back
hand. I
into
have
the
to bring
game.
this up now. Can we get some sort of like
Because the game
cohesive,
at the current state, if we take a
all-in-one
look,
bench
we're only at
for
24k, 24
salvaging,
RP.
selling for
When
gold,
3 months ago
alchemist
we were at
benching
500 and just say
at
80k
Endgame.
people.
I get in the campaign,
So like, how
having these
much
things be
of this
separate,
580
but,
is
like,
going to
at
return?
Endgame,
Are we only going to go back up to like
You
150,
don't have
200k?
enough with them
Are
just
we
being
going to
next to each
match
other,
this,
next to each
going
other?
close to it, back to like
Well,
500k?
Alright,
Is it never going to
I'll
reach
think
this
about that.
number until full release? Like, that's
Planted the
kind of the
seeds
stuff
at
that I'm
least.
wondering a little bit about.
On my
Like how
box.
many
There's ways.
returning or players that stop playing the game are
There's
going to come back.
ways. I like the sounds of that.
Well, at least for Endgame, like
Yeah, that's
I,
what
I
figured,
do.
yeah.
I don't want the world to not feel like it makes sense.
Absolutely.
So,
But
having it that you can just,
Endgame,
like-
you've got your hideout where they're all
It would
like-
have to be a hideout related thing.
yeah.
That makes sense. I mean, people are putting their NPCs within each other's personal space anyway, so
Yeah.
the law goes out the window at that
Yeah,
point.
for sure.
Yeah, I can see that epic. I hope at
So
least around
we've
the
also
200 to
got,
300k mark
Fractured,
comes back.
Crafted via an orb from the cleansed monsters. How rare are those?
How do you quantify rarity like that? They drop from the monsters. I can't remember the exact number, but like I think I was kind of saying like 1 per biome, which is the kind of total blob of cleansed monsters.
Oh yeah, for
but
sure,
then
dude.
that
I
obviously
mean,
does get affected
back
by
on
things
how
like
the
pack size and
POE
all that on
1,
top of that.
so if we go back to Path of
Uh,
Exile
Like 5
1,
maps or something?
Well, it
Uh,
depends on how many of them you kill as corrupted.
Yeah,
Because
so-
the ones you
Go
didn't,
back to the Path of Exile chart.
didn't cleanse while you were
we'll go back to the
getting
year,
to
right?
Nexus.
So we can
Those are the
see
ones
that
that
the
then
game
become
basically
cleansed.
always
So
has
you kind of have to
spikes.
choose, like,
So
when
like
you go
this
into
was
a biome, am I gonna
230
be
and then
like
it'll go
straight to
down.
Nexus
And obviously
and,
the reason why it's
cleanse
so low
everything,
here
or
is
am I
because they
gonna
haven't
fight
had anything.
more
So we go back to the
scratches
3-year year mark,
So you kind of
we can
choose one
kind of
reward
see.
or the other
So
based on,
this was back in 2013. They hit
Okay, so
167,
you
then
kinda
it'll go
make this
down,
last
and then they'll
one.
release a
Yes,
new
if you wanna
thing.
sit
It'll go
to try
back
and
up
get
to
more
190. It'll go
free
down. It'll
Oh,
go
no,
back
it's
up.
the
Right?
other way around.
It always
So
has
it
kind of like a
mixes
peak
first,
like this.
Then it cleanses all the
Oh.
maps.
So they
and now you can
basically
get the most chance at,
almost
factory
get
rewards,
like 100%
or you can,
retention. Now
fight
I don't know if
the
that's going to work in
before going to
PoE
the
1
Nexus
or
if you
2. I
want the
mean,
rewards
because
that
there's
the
so many more
crafting maps
people.
have.
But I would at least expect around, like you said, 220,
So you're
230k
gonna want
would
this. Here's a
come
bunch
if
of
they're
new
peaking
modifiers.
230 on
Yeah,
PoE 1.
You know, so there's like
So I would assume at least around this number,
kind of
it'll hit
things and
POE
all that
2.
stuff. So you
I mean, you
kind of
gotta
really
think
are gonna, you know, have a
the
look at
other
mods,
people
you
too
know,
would come back. So I'm
this,
thinking around
this, then
300k is
this,
what we'll
then the
see
Nexus, and then I'm gonna do the rest
on
cleansed.
Steam. And then obviously, like you said, you got consoles, their official launcher,
not
and all
yet,
that.
Not yet.
So I'd
It
assume
does
probably a million
have,
players will be back on the
it
game.
guarantees a fractured orb though as well.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
So you
right.
But I
get
mean,
like
we'll
a
have to
boss.
see,
So
I
So
guess.
and you'll display if you hover over the map and it says like contains, I can't remember his name. Then you run it and kill it, you will get a fractured orb. So at least you will know that will drop one.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. So with the fractured orbs being away fracturing, that's obviously super powerful for crafting. Yeah,
Well,
already
one,
fractured items
Diablo,
dropping
nobody
pretty
plays that.
fractured.
I'll be
Quite like
honest.
that.
I think
Last
we
Epoch
went
got
no
pushed
in the
back,
end. We were gonna do
so
it, but then we
in
decided
terms
we
of
might
like
do
new
it later.
content and stuff and new
So an
updates
extra
to
add-on. Is there
ARPGs,
for-
Path of Exile is like the
There
only
just kinda
one.
wasn't anything that really fit
So
the-
they
the-
should have
that
a
exact
very,
content.
very
At
big
some point
retention
you'll
rate come
want
back,
some
I
new
would think.
thing to
Yeah,
go in
probably.
that.
Because Last Epoch, like I said, is not until
Personally, I
what,
would
2
rather
weeks or
just
something,
drop
3 weeks until
orbs.
after
Honestly, let people choose
the release
how they wanna
of
use
the
them.
new content update for Path of Exile
I
2.
like it from the
So,
perspective of
they're not competing with that.
Like,
Diablo,
They kind of already do.
I
They
feel
kind of
like
do here anyway,
Path of Exile already
because,
got
like,
a huge
because you
number
need
of their
that
players
as
to come
a
over.
so it's kind of not
So I don't think
necessary.
they're really competing with that too much.
There's other little subtle things, like for example, the cleansed monsters within cleansed maps can't drop equipment as a little thing. So they have much higher. Obviously, they're dropping things more like waystones, tablets, currency. They don't get to drop any of the armor or anything. So they're more like currency sources. Is like an interesting
So if
subtle
you
thing.
want, if you want more currency, then play clean.
Oh, they moved it back, Kip.
Yeah.
So Last Epoch,
A lot more
hold on,
omens,
let me do
potentially
this.
ability to get fractured, recombination.
So if I go
new, more
to,
accessible at low and mid tier
Design
recombination.
4.0.
I can probably go here and then just go to Last
This is
Epoch.
yes, recombination is certainly undergone some changes. This is a huge leap forwards compared to 0.1's crafting.
So they did the
So
new
was it
launch
just
date.
about
They
that
moved
you
it to
had
April
establish that
17th.
really, like, humble baseline
So
for
they pushed it
crafting?
back because of
then
Path of
crafting?
Exile
Honestly,
to
I mean,
April
look, on some
17th.
level it can just be
So we
you know,
have like 2 weeks to
you
play
need an
the
economy to see
beta
how things
or
evolve,
the
you
new
know,
content
just don't wanna
update.
do too much at
But they're not
once,
competing with
although
Last
this may
Epoch.
seem like quite a lot. I mean,
The only thing would be
but the thing is,
Diablo,
like,
but I feel like
in terms
even
of the
Diablo right
beneficial
now is
systems,
not
like, if we'd have
cracked.
had all that at the start.
I mean, we can look
I
at,
think that we would've
obviously,
been, like, you know,
Steam is not going to have a huge
put it this way,
representation of it.
It is hard to take the stuff away.
But I guess
so that's
it
why we have to
can
be a little
kind
bit
of tell us a
careful
little bit
with
about the
these
players.
Yeah,
I mean,
guess
there's
you
only
need to
8k
kind of
on it right
assess
now.
the fundamental things
We go
like
back in the
OCRs,
1 month
the
peak.
no
Yeah,
faults
100%.
and stuff like that
I
as well,
mean,
'cause
You
then
can,
you can have a
it's
better
kind of going
idea
down.
about
So
that.
I would assume that
Super
you can kind of
crafting.
get a similar thing where their main launcher probably has a downward kind of trajectory.
Oh, you're gonna
right
have
now.
one craft for every league, right? That's how it
So-
is these days.
Oh, yes.
I
I'd
expect a
assume not a
crafting
lot of
system
people are
for every
really
league.
grinding Diablo like that anymore.
That's somewhat actually our intention. So.
Yeah, yeah.
I love it, perfect. So
Last
let's talk
Epoch
about
is pay to
Endgame
win?
then,
No, it's not
'cause
pay to
that
win.
Had some humble origins as well.
At
with
least
initial,
back when I played it,
um,
it wasn't unless they made
implementation
changes.
of POE 2's Endgame, obviously trying some new things, being a bit experimental, not necessarily just wanting to copy POE 1's Endgame, but how far of your vision was 0.1's Endgame?
I feel that bad. I mean, we'll have to see what
I would
happens.
say
I
the
think for
main
us,
problem that
I'll
we
be
had
obviously
is
league
there
start
wasn't enough
guides.
overlapping access
I'll be
randoms,
grinding.
we call them, where
I want to try to at least do
you have it
around.
so that when you go into a map,
I want to
there's
say
just
so.
chances
I
for
want to say
random
8-hour
shit
streams a
occurring.
day, but
And
obviously
then
we'll see what
that
happens.
random shit, like,
Off
might
the
happen
the
alongside
first
some other
days,
random
the
shit,
first few days
and
of
then
the new
thing
content
together is
update,
like a
definitely going to be
scenario. So,
longer
I mean,
streams.
effectively, like,
And then
yeah,
obviously
exactly, right.
league
So
start
it's
guides,
like
want to
if
do
you look
builds,
at what we actually added here in
crafting
terms of,
guides,
like,
the new
encounters
crafting
and
stuff,
whatever that means to
and
you.
a bunch of more
Like,
stuff.
we've added kind of more than
But,
40, probably something approaching 50.
Yeah, for right now,
encounters.
my,
That's
my
just,
plans
like,
are kind
if
of
you count things
shifted
like, you know,
because
Detroit
obviously I
Exile's
wanted
a
to do
separate
league
one,
start
and
this
then,
weekend
like,
for like league
Dispersive
start
one,
guides,
things like that,
but
right? So those are the
can't
those
really
are
do
the
that
things.
when we have
The
zero
difference between
information
the
on
ones
the
we had
patch
before
notes.
and the ones we have
So
now is that most of these
I don't know.
ones can overlap.
I don't know if it'll be
So
it
you have a
either. I'll
situation
try to
where,
figure
you know,
something else
that you've
out,
got the,
and or it might be a
Azmerian
few
Wisp
days
that, like, happens to
longer
affect
than
the
anticipated
unique
to get league
boss
start
of the
stuff out.
area, and then that leads to a combat situation that you haven't fielded before, or then, you know, like, you've got some essence thing that, like, you know,
played,
like,
but I
oh
don't-
crap, you know,
yeah, I
that, like
got you.
this other wisp like caused the thing to turn into a boss that then, you know, like, you know, it's just like it's all that stuff combining, or like, you know, what happens when this goes with a, you know, with a unique strongbox, and it's like all that combining stuff, and that's what leads to the situation where you've got an exponential explosion of like possible combat situations.
I
and then
don't think Last
sometimes you
Epoch's
just
pay to
run into
win. I
stuff
don't know.
you've
What are
never
you
seen
guys
before
talking
because
about
of
that's
that,
pay to
'cause
win
it's
about it?
combined in some interesting way, and that's
'Cause
something
you
that
can't
definitely
just
Heroes
buy
of Iron has got
items.
very well because
So-
it's got so many of these things that have been added over time.
I will get the
And it's also something
trees.
that we took
I'll get
care
you
to
the
make sure
trees
that
once I
each
get
league,
them from Bach.
specifically did.
What do you mean revered?
So what PoE 2 lacked.
You can, like,
was
data mine the
that.
trees? What are you talking
And,
about?
So that will mean I think that the end game is overall just much more engaging. Now, obviously, we're going to be adding more content and more of the.
They're
stuff,
in the
but
PoE2
fundamentally,
tree
like,
in
it wasn't
public,
enough of- it was
but
specifically
at some
more of
point the
that
URL he
type
got to.
of stuff that we needed to do.
Really?
And
Who got
honestly,
this?
I don't think we've even got
Was it in
enough yet,
PoE2
so I think we want
DB?
even more. We'll keep on adding that stuff, but it needed to become a focus. And I think part of the
Where is
reason
they
is
even
that
have the Huntress in?
like when you're
They
like
don't.
when we're
Where
first
are
working on the Endgame, right?
you?
It's like we need to come up with the big ticket items, right? Like what are the the league things and like the maps, and like we need to come up with all that stuff. And so it's the little detaily kind of things that kind of a little bit require a bit more like time and stuff to work on. Even though they're actually like relatively efficient to make. Like,
Nice. A friend of mine does
actually
Grey Hat for a living. Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about like a streamer or something. Was like, got it. I was like, oh shoot. Yeah, if you can get them revered, 100% send them over to me, dude. So I could start to like pre-put stuff together, you know.
We'll just be continuing to do that through the game.
Yeah, because for right now, I can't really do anything, you know. Like, can't really like say any type of league starters because we don't know like nerfs or changes. We don't know full Ascendancy stuff, so I can't do any like the new stuff for Huntress. Guess I could put a slapstick thing together, but I feel like it wouldn't be really worth doing a video on because we don't know the full info, so it's like, you know,
so a bit like those
kind of
exploration
misleading.
mechanics in campaigns.
100%, yeah,
could be a
exactly.
thing
That's just we just want to make sure that you feel that same way through the
huge. Thank you very much,
With
man.
the
If you can
leagues
send
as
that to me
well.
for sure.
And
I guess just
like,
DM it to me on Discord.
there's really only so
I
much
think you're in the
randomness
community
that can
Discord.
occur within a breach in a map,
Princess
so
take
they will end
FIFA,
up
you can
feeling
lead up
ultra
points by
repetitive,
buying
whereas,
packs and players and
and
coins,
again,
but
in
if you
POE1 you had the
grind
boss
it,
that could spawn
you
occasionally
guys
of
talking
5
about
different
last epoch?
factions,
What the fuck?
you know, things like that, and it is very much our intention to expand on all the leagues to have way more random things occurring, mini
yeah.
bosses
I don't think you
spawning,
can do that in last epoch. You guys
whatever
thinking
else,
about last
you know,
epoch or
I haven't all
last
set, I don't wanna spoil
like
them all yet 'cause
Lost
that's a whole
Ark?
later thing, but definitely want to expand on all that.
Because Lost Ark is pay to win,
you
but
know,
that's a MMORPG
even
like other game. Last
Expedition only has
epoch,
the
I
one
don't know.
boss.
I don't ever
It had
remember
4 in the
it being pay to
predecessor.
win.
You know, like we need to get back to having all of that depth and all of combat and all of those mechanics, and it'll help hugely, while also making sure we're adding new ones, of course. But what we
Okay, so
definitely have
Lost
got
Ark is
our
what you're thinking
minimum
of. Yeah,
standard
that
for
is
new
pay to
ones
win.
gonna
Last
have to-
epoch
should
is not
include
pay to
all of
win.
these things from the get-go.
That's what I was so confused
Otherwise
about,
we're
like
just setting
grinding
ourselves up
coins
for,
and all.
like,
I was like,
here's
what are you
the
guys
things we need
talking
to
about?
improve. It'd be nice to actually get some of them finished. So that's
Yeah,
gonna be a
yeah.
goal
So it's
going forward
Lost
for sure.
Lost Ark is no thing that's pay to win. Last epoch is not.
because like adding content is no longer a process of like we work on a thing and then the players get to play. Like it gets into a situation where like adding content has more value than just the content itself. It like because it adds to everything else too, and so that kind of makes it feel like the world gets like larger in much larger proportion than what you have. And so like
when do they get to the Q&A portion? Have they already did it?
Yeah, the square of all the stuff we add. So that, like basically it'll feel like it's ramping up in terms of interest.
I don't know if they did they do the Q&A already?
Rather than just feeling like you're just continuing like rather than every league feeling like you just add the same amount. It'll feel.
Oh
like
yeah,
it gets
Lost
even
Ark is
bigger each
100% pay to win.
Yeah, like when you add Azmerian Wisps.
What are we at
it's
the
not just about
Twitch
adding
drops?
that, it interacts with all the other
Oh,
things that
close,
that
84%.
can
Exactly.
Go ahead and affect. So that's tackling one of the ultimately I think the biggest things is just that like the core basic mapping of running an empty map was boring, and that's never what you want to be. Obviously.
Yeah, we get it.
So like some of the issues there, I guess, as well that were exacerbated by that problem was the fact that the maps were so big and that there were so many of them. Obviously, that's getting a lot better with the maps themselves becoming much more interesting. But it seems like this corruption and cleansing mechanic is breaking up.
I'm sure they
into
are
something
revered,
to
yeah. I don't
progress
think anyone's
through
saying like
as you move towards the next tower,
because I mean,
or next boss,
new classes are
next
straightforward.
other mechanic.
Rework,
I mean,
you
I
have to
guess
go
there's
through
always
and see what's
something
wrong
on
with
your
it,
screen
right?
that you're pushing
Rework
towards,
everything, and then
Well, we want to
balance it
try
after you
and-
rework
like,
it, make
honestly,
sure it's
I don't
not
even think we're
broken.
even
So it's a
quite
lot
there
more
yet.
than
Like,
just
we really want to
I
make
like
it so that,
you know
that
like
you
let's
feel
develop
like
this new
there's
skill
lots
with this new class.
quests,
Okay,
as it were, in Endgame,
you
like not
know,
necessarily
and
directly in the form of like
go
here's a
from
quest
there, you
objective,
know?
but like
Yeah.
that you sort of have this feeling of like
So,
there's
sure.
like different stuff that you're like that
The
you feel like there's a
classes
thing,
are,
like exactly right.
easier
You
than
need to,
reworks.
ideally like every time you do one of those, it's like there's another one just on the horizon
Exactly.
that you're
Yeah.
thinking about. So yeah, if we can achieve that, then we'll have succeeded. But yeah, it'll need to keep adding stuff, right? Like just more and more things, because obviously you need to have enough just core there to be able to get to the point of it doesn't feel like you're just repeating the same thing over and over again as well.
It seemed like this like explorable world map thing that you did for
You should click this checkbox, give it a
Endgame,
name, like
being,
doing a
looking like
Wix
physical
website.
actual map was really wanting us to explore.
Sounds
but there
pretty simple
wasn't
then, yeah,
really much
compared
of
to
that, so
reworking everything.
you kind
Yeah,
of,
well, I mean, ideally we can. It's just about content, really. At that point, you
Yeah.
just need to add more and more, and we'll keep on adding more. And this
We'll
this
100% get more of it.
yeah, and 0 to 0, I think goes a long way to improving that for sure.
so with the corruption mechanic now, you're going to see some corruption on the map, and you're going to want to go there because it's a system that you
Yeah,
can
yep,
interact with.
exactly.
And it's your skill points.
yes.
Yes.
So you're
Your
unlocking
Atlas
skill
points.
points from that, which means you're unlocking more of the Atlas
So
tree earlier on.
Your first Nexus, you have to run at a tier 1 map, and it will
Great.
drop 2 skill points. It'll give you your first two skill points,
Awesome.
and then you're like, all right, where's my next Nexus? That's where I'm going for my next 2, and then your next one, and you have to do them 1 tier higher every time.
Mm-hmm.
So the second one, you
yes,
tier 2 to
Ben,
get
but
your
very different.
skill points and so on and so forth.
In POE
And
1,
just-
you like
that's it.
It's not just
basically
grind
you
for maps.
teleported,
Yeah,
I
that
think,
was-
or
that
it
was
like
terrible.
basically made the area completely like
Good, I love
darken,
it.
and
So
you would
yeah,
follow
it
a
is
little
very much
wisp
like,
light,
let's go
and it would
and
lead
clear these
you
corrupted nexus.
basically
And
to
then it's like,
areas,
well, then there's
and you
the
could
whole
like
mechanic
collect
around it.
the
But yeah, if you want to
like
just
stuff
full
that
on
left
get my
behind and
points
stuff
as
like
fast as
that.
possible, just go
And
nexus to
this,
nexus
the
to
way it works
nexus
is you
and
follow the wisp, and it'll
get as many as you
either
can.
transform
If you're like,
enemies
I can't see
or
any nexus,
inhabit
maybe go to
a
a tower
rare,
to reveal more, and then
you fight
you
it and
know,
kill
what
it.
you do
So
way
it's
less
the same
frequently,
kind of
mind
like
you,
premise
thank goodness.
almost, but it's
Yes.
very different in terms of
But
visuals
yeah,
and
it's
how the
a lot more
encounter
objective
interacts.
driven as opposed to just again random grind and random exploration. There's at least, and you should be seeing a pretty decent chunk of unique maps.
I was going to ask,
well,
yeah.
I call them
It's
unique
funny, yeah,
maps.
it's funny because I was pointing out to Matt the other day that the distinction between a unique map and a normal, like there is no distinction anymore. We shouldn't even look at it that way. Like it should be that every map is like unique in some sense.
There's not a unique
You know,
map
there's not a
system.
we
unique
have
map,
an
yeah,
icon.
exactly.
We do have an icon for it because they are kind of in a different echelon.
Yeah.
But yes, technically, unique map is a name that's a holdover from POE
Yeah, because
1.
you can
Yeah.
use mods with them with Waystones anyway,
these-
so it doesn't. There's no actual
Sure.
reason for
Yeah,
a
for
unique
sure,
to be
Reed.
any different than a normal map.
You can craft
It's
it
just,
and enhance
it
it.
really
and
just
juice
it really just comes down to how rare they are relative
Yeah.
to other things, right? So,
And how rare are they? How, like
I mean,
maybe
again,
in
so hard to
terms of
explain.
player screen.
yeah, I mean, look, as I said, I think
How many
that
screens?
How many? I had the numbers. I just don't remember them.
well, I mean, as I said, they should be common enough that you feel like there's always some kind of objective you're excited
yeah,
about on the screen,
it
right?
honestly more common than I was initially comfortable with, and then after trying it, I was like, okay, actually, this is like,
Yeah.
this is reasonable. So
Yeah, I feel like you initially probably want them to be common enough that you're like almost getting tired of those map layouts, so then you're incentivized to add more.
The good thing is, by the way, by adding more here, we didn't just keep them the same commonality as the 2 that existed.
Did they?
Like,
Does
they
anybody
are just
know
more
if
common.
they did the Q&A
It's
yet,
not like
or if they're
the
just
reason- part of the
periodically
reason
picking
it
questions
wasn't
from
as
the
common
chat and
before
asking?
is because there was only 2, and
Yeah.
that would have just been repetitive and boring.
Could Ben? It
One
could.
of the other restrictions is that like the Vault of Kamasa was restricted to the Val City biome, so to speak, and
They're just
that was
yapping.
one of the
Okay,
Citadel
just-
biomes. That's like one of the rarest and latest, you know.
Yes.
So it's like,
So how much is
we've
this
not
Q&A
only made
supposed
that
to
more
go for?
common
Is it supposed to go
within
for
that
like 2
biome,
hours, 3
but
hours?
A lot of the new ones, in fact, all of
feel like
the
it's
new
been
ones
like an
aren't
hour
restricted
already.
to
They've
those
been
city
just
biomes,
kinda
and thus
doing the
they
same
are
thing.
appearing more frequently. And some of them are like, oh, you want deserts?
Servers are
'cause they
down
give
right
you
now,
the
Shane?
essence
Really?
Map, or you want the mountain because they can give you this and that, you know. So
Ah.
like, ideally, there's a little bit of just like you see the edge of a desert, and you're like, oh my
Not
god,
trade.
please.
Yes.
This one back
Okay.
is
So that's what I was going to say. This like idea of exploration is like I felt there needed to be something biomes where like you're actually pushing into a biome because there's that one node that like affected your drops slightly,
Well,
but obviously that's not much.
The one that was the Shattered
nothing.
Lakes, for example, as you can probably imagine, only spawns in the water biome. And so there's a little bit of like, you know,
How do you see if
and
it's
so does
down?
Untainted Paradise.
Something here. Is it
and
maybe on the trade
so
site?
does one other. So
Maybe
there
the
are
trade
actually
site will say it's
3
down?
Okay.
special maps that can spawn only in the water. So
Figures I
go
gotta
to the
log
water.
in. Hold on.
And
You're getting
otherwise,
trolled.
how easy is it to find? You said there was an icon. Obviously, you kind of have an idea of what biomes. Is it like also something that's
I
pretty
don't think
visually-
it's
Oh, there's
down
a-
right now. I
there's
don't
a
see
lot of
anywhere it
them.
says it's down.
Yeah, so they
That
when we
looks
looked at with the
interesting.
when we looked at with the megaliths, which had all the storm and lightning. Well, on the map, it has a bunch of storm and lightning.
Cool.
So yes.
That's awesome. Cute. That's great. So we mentioned the Atlas passive tree, and
all
you're
pre-recorded? Yeah, I
seemingly,
know.
think,
Well,
getting better progression of that.
if it's
But
all
definitely
pre-recorded, how do they
shy
get into the
of some
Q&A
that
then?
Felt very top heavy. Both for the core one.
Is the
and
Q&A
also for-
literally just?
especially for the league
No,
mechanics
there
where,
can't
like,
be because it's
league
it's
mechanics you don't get
it has to be
until
kind of
you
live,
bosses,
right?
which to me feels
if
like
they're asking
the
questions
end
from
of it
chat.
for most players.
that kind of was the original pitch of that, and I wouldn't say that's really changing here, but there is more we want to do with that, and I think that it could be made better. But 020 isn't getting a change there to that side.
Why
But
does it say at the
in terms
top
of the
then,
actual
Revere,
core
that
Atlas, it
you can
definitely
ask
is.
questions with
You know,
Vouch?
like you're getting that earlier. There's more.
Right
There's
here.
a bigger tree. There's more interesting stuff.
Why does it say
subtle
right there you can
changes
ask
to
questions?
getting them in the sense that, like, for example,
If it's not pre-recorded.
difficulty
Or if it
zero
is
pinnacle
pre-recorded.
bosses are
Yep.
way lower life
Well, that's actually
Is
now.
it just
that's
the
actually a very good
illusion
point.
that you
So,
can
yes,
ask questions?
Difficulty 0 is now like half the life that it had before. And
Wait,
so that's like a
really?
pretty substantial
Nah,
difference.
there's no
Currently
way,
the
right?
same,
Yeah.
as what it was before. So it's same top end, but like
There's
easier
no
to
way he's
accessible
just
for more people
asking
at the
and
bottom
or
end.
answering in chat,
and then
man.
also because of like, you know,
That is so
due
lame
to the
if it
reliquary
is.
key working the way it does, all pinnacle bosses can drop all uniques at all difficulties, except they are like substantially less common at difficulty
That's crazy,
0, but you
Ben.
feel way less bad for running them at that point now.
Well, that kind of
So
sucks.
again, it's just opening that
So what
up
was
to
the
a lot more
update for
people
earlier,
farm,
by
and
the way?
it's not so much
I didn't
dependent on
get
if
to
your
see
build
that.
can't do difficulty 4, you're not
Because
really a
obviously I
viable
was in a
character
dentist
kind of
minute.
mindset.
What
So
is
much more
the
easy
update
onboarding
for?
those.
which will
pinnacle
give you your
bosses now.
first sets of points.
Is
certainly
it
a lot
does
easier
it
now.
say anywhere, or is it
That
just
being
to
said,
like
not if you're
get the
playing
game
most
ready
broken
for
build of all time,
0.2?
because you probably nerfed into the ground. Let's be real. So with your new build, we'll have to see how that
Well,
balance
with
goes.
their
but
new broken build.
yeah,
of all
well,
time.
sure.
Okay,
yeah.
but
one of those
New
spec, one
Spectre
of those
builds,
specs.
yeah.
Mm.
Anyway, the ultimate.
Where did
point
you link it
being,
at?
Yeah, you're
Revered?
you're certainly going to get
Did
those
you
initial
link
set
it
of
in the
points easier than
Discord or
before.
DM'd me?
However, yeah, you are right. That something isn't quite right there still, and I do need to kind of explore.
We are going to do more with this like later. We've talked about this issue, but we didn't have time to do anything
Am I, like,
about
stupid or
it in 0 to
something?
as much. But certainly by
In
the
here,
end of early
wait,
access,
did
I think that system will probably
Okay,
look like
I'm
Part of
forgetting
it
about
also,
it.
as we were talking about
Can you
before,
can
adding
you
all
re-say
those
it?
extra bits of content to the leagues, it'll help give more
I
interest
apologize.
to the trees and more nodes we can add to actually invest into. Because if you think about a breach,
Yeah, I'm
there's only so
scrolling
much
up.
you can
I'm
actually
not
modify right now.
seeing a
Right,
link.
there's a level of radius, speed, density of monsters, and like sure, there's the standard stuff with monsters, but like you can only go so
hold
far
on.
when you don't have all of that depth of different factions
Oh,
and different
no,
bosses and
that's-
different mini bosses and different
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not seeing
itemization,
it. Maybe I'm bugging.
additional things with catalysts and whatnot. Like you are quite limited in how expansive a tree can be, and so it'd be nice to get those things in and also kind of look at the trees at the same time and reevaluate how that works, just so we can have them be more interesting while we're at it.
That. Okay, thank
yeah.
you, Revered.
And now with the pinnacle bosses,
Added
if
support for
you're,
the
like,
upcoming
halfway
Path of
through a
Exile
level,
2
you don't
announcement.
need to-
Enable the microtransactions.
maybe
Okay,
I'll do
yes,
that when I
thank
get the
you,
rest of
thank
the
you.
level now.
Yes, that was a good.
Okay,
change.
so nothing insane.
So
We'll
yeah,
do is getting it ready.
As he was saying, the
I mean,
as you were
hopefully
saying,
we get the
you
patch
no
notes
longer
in.
gain
I wish they
experience
kind
or
of said
lose
on
experience
stream
anymore
when we
from,
would be getting them.
pinnacle,
Like
so you
if
can
it's
just feel free
this
to do it
Friday,
anytime.
or
I
you
think
know,
that's
like
just a straight up upgrade,
like
and,
Monday next week.
It's
over
not
the
like you were playing
weekend,
pinnacle
'cause
bosses for experience.
that kind of all
So, yeah,
like
the
revolves
downside is
around
it's not
late
a
start
much
stuff,
really.
right? Like I can't do really that
It also
until
is
we
the
get
nice
that,
thing
so
of
I
really
can
just keeping like
make
if
changes
we add more
accordingly.
leagues, for example, and we end up with a domain of timeless conflict problem, where it's just like rotations to max level. Like
Oh,
ultra,
really?
ultra
Yes, we
quick.
don't want that type of
Like
content.
Pinnacle
at
boss
least
more
now we
difficult?
can say like
Yeah.
Not
maps are
really.
the way you
I don't think so.
Like, that is
Yeah.
what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And
I'd
sure,
want the
you might get
MTX
some
shop
sort
to
of
reflect
unique
all
map
things you can
rotation
get in
here and,
PoE2. Yeah, it's kind of
maybe
weird that you
not,
can
I
buy
don't
stuff
know.
on their site that
Depends.
isn't in the PoE2
But
shop, but it'll
hopefully we
still
can avoid
work
that,
in
but either
PoE2.
way, like, it's just
Like you
really
said, they
you're
just need
playing
to
in
make it
maps
to
to
where
level, and that's
everything
what
that
you're
works in
doing.
It's not-
PoE2
that's
is
not
there to
extra
buy.
content, right?
At
So
least,
it's not gonna
at
be-
least until we've added.
But let me see if I can maybe find the
Well,
Paladin
sure.
pack.
I mean, there
I
will
want-
be future parallel
Yeah.
in-game systems. Right?
Confirmed.
Yeah, no.
I'm just gonna drop this down by a little bit.
Yes,
Delve,
yes,
yeah.
yes.
Yeah, I do want
You're a fan.
to
I
try
mean,
to
you made the endgame look like Delve, so
like
Yeah.
some drip.
But yeah, that's been a long-term problem, and one we need to
Paladin.
properly
Can
apply
we
to the
find the
game as
pack?
well.
Is it on the store?
The whole like not
Shop.
can't do my content because I got a level, and I'm like, even if you're only like
New
15% in,
armor.
you're like, oh,
Yeah.
Paladin.
It's just not as bad.
Yeah.
It's just not as bad
Nothing
in
there,
PoE1 because
great.
the leveling is faster.
Yeah, it's
so
true.
it doesn't.
Fantastic.
It hasn't been on our radar as much.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So speaking of like map progression, there's been some fundamental changes there. You're telling me that
Yeah, for sure.
now you can no longer drop maps below your current level of map.
It's correct. So yes, you no
Hold
longer
on.
get if you're playing a T5 map,
Amazing.
you're only going to get T5 maps, or if there's a boss there, a T6 map. But we've also smoothed the way the whole
Huge.
progression works. So we've
Thank
actually,
God.
um,
You can't
the
get
map drops are way
two
less
maps now
random
running
entirely.
T15s.
When you kill
Such
the
a good
last
change. Okay.
rare in a
Yeah,
map,
I don't think the
that has
Paladin's
a,
here unless it's in
it can affect it at T1. That's
here,
a
maybe?
100% chance to drop.
Oh, I would assume it was the supported pack that's
And
been
then as you go up the tiers,
that I did not get.
you can
Unfortunate.
still sustain that using Waystone chance. So
Unfortunate.
effectively, it's de-randomized that a lot. And then the way there are
Can they
several
get rid
ways
of
that
the
you can
loot for
upgrade.
the
So in terms of like going
Very
up
true.
the tiers. So one of them is that when you kill a boss, that's a guaranteed +1 upgrade. Then of course you can still cube them up, 3 to 1 recipe to go up a level, or you can run it corrupted. And if you're running a corrupted map, then because it drops the same tier, that's like a sort of guaranteed.
Isn't there a
when I say
website
corrupted,
that shows you
one
everything that you can
file
like run in
corrupted.
PoE2
Just can't pick
for
up +1.
PoE1 for like
That
MTX?
lets you do
I
the,
swear there is. I just forget what
run the same
it's
levels. So you've kind of got those
called.
two options, but it's much more intentional now. It's like if you're going up maps, it's like you're deciding, okay, this is a thing I am doing. You don't just
Like
kind of
if
have
I
that,
just
like,
click on
it doesn't
something here, so
happen.
just say scroll
So,
down.
it's
I like
kind of
this
supposed to make the
divergence.
jump, like,
How do you
if you're just
see
looking to
if it's
sustain,
usable in PoE2 or not?
that's
I
pretty
beg?
much guaranteed. And unless you're dying more than the number of times you've got portals, which is obviously the thing now that you can go through portals again, the sustain is going to be a lot easier if you are dying. But then it's like once you've achieved that, it's like okay,
Yeah, I don't know.
you
Maybe I'm
effectively
bugging. I mean,
can
I know
sustain
the
forever.
one
Like,
is.
the cases where people just drop off the bottom and have issues should be like way less common.
Ultimately, it's way less random,
way more deterministic.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Yeah, I know there's a website.
ultimately
I gotta
you-
find that website that lets you know
as long
what
as
it
you
is.
are able to do the not die all the time, you will sustain
Oh, you
that tier
did?
forever.
Huge W.
Assuming you can roll enough, you know,
Yeah.
that high enough mod count. And you know, there is a boss here. I'm
I'm
going to
wondering
go
how many
up tier.
people
Yeah.
And
are
you go for
running
the
out of
boss, you kill
maps
the
at
boss,
a
you go
quad
up a
tab
tier.
with just
And
maps.
if you
And then you sustain that tier forever. As long as
They
you
said
do
the
the
people that were running out
And
of
if
maps
it's
were people that were
very
consistently
And if we're
dying on the
adding
waystones and
mods,
just
which you do need to be
literally
doing, to
consuming their
continue to
maps and not
maintain
getting any to drop.
100%,
So I
ability
guess just
to-
bad
to-
players,
to
I'll be
go up
honest.
tiers. Then, and if you're doing that early, you're getting more maps than what other people are getting, which means you can do the cubing as well. Like it's just kind of like it just much more effectively gets the thing where good players can advance at the right speed.
You said you
normal
DM'd me
players
reviewed
don't
of the
fall off
one-
the bottom
of the
of
link
curve.
for the
It kind
paladin
of solves all of those issues like without, but also you're not going to have just like hordes of low level waystones that you don't need as well. So like
and just no, it does. There are still.
Yeah, I don't see
you can
any
get
like
to the highest
messages
tiers
from anyone.
relatively quickly. You have to prove you're good enough. Your character's good enough. But if you
Yeah, the message been
doing it, you
done like
get
over and
there,
over and
right?
over again.
It's pretty quick, and you can take it at your own leisure as well, and that's completely fine. So it's not like, oh, we've made it way longer to get.
Oh
to
yeah,
tier
Twitch
15,
DMs are
like,
weird.
None of that is really the case.
For sure.
It's just that before you could luck into getting to T15 quickly, with some level of bias.
Yeah, basically
in the luck,
epic.
of course. Or you could just be like, what the heck, I'm like constantly running out and have a really bad time.
Right.
And so now
You
it's
can buy
way,
T1
way
maps,
more,
Ben.
like,
You can't buy
predictable and
like literally Doriani
obviously
doesn't
it
go above like T5 or
probably
T6
has
maps.
way more of an impact on the sustain problem, which we didn't really. Which
And
we
those
talked about,
aren't
which is the
infinite buys, they're
respawning. I would
one-time
argue this thing
uses.
has like way more impact on maps.
Link them in the
sustain
Discord,
than
I
the
bet. Let me
respawning
take a
does.
look. Thank you.
I mean, obviously if they're paired, then they relate.
you need both
but-
because
yeah.
if because the
it's just the paladin pack.
guaranteed drop comes from the final rare. So if you were just dying, you would never get it. So the respawning is necessary in order to make it so that that's going to happen. For players who
Okay, that face looks ugly.
obviously, as it gets more difficult, you
Dude
get those
also
pulls,
looks
you
like
start to get to
nothing
the
but
point where
like
you're gonna run into trouble, but,
plaster.
if you're a good player, you should be able to get up into the top and sustain very well.
Yep.
You mentioned the idea of
Okay, and
maps
this is
dropping
Divine
magic
Paladin
by
supporter.
default.
Yes.
Is that something
So I guess you get all of
doing,
this?
or-
I believe it is.
Yeah,
But
it's
actually, wait. But there wasn't a concern about that, which I wanted to talk to you
Without.
about later.
Oh,
which
well,
is
maybe
the-
maybe not.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later because
That was
a
cool.
concern was raised that I think is valid. So yeah, we were going to make it so that maps drop magic and above, but we're actually there might be issues, so we'll discuss that later on.
Well,
non-decided.
Yeah,
That's cool.
undecided, Yeah.
Undecided, yeah.
You thought it was decided. I just
Got a week left.
Yeah, we've got a week left. It's fine.
I'm the Sacred Paladin supporter.
Still figuring.
Mhm.
It sounds like much more deterministic progression
But
if
yes,
you're
that's
able
the
to
main
prove
thing.
the power that you have.
That's
Well,
the main
it
thing.
just should be, am I strong enough to do this? Yes,
And
I
then
can
that's
do
it. Okay, so I
Not,
mean, honestly,
am I lucky
to
enough
me,
do
I'll be
this?
honest,
And
Yeah.
am I strong
not
enough to
really-
do this?
Great.
it's cool, but
One of those
nothing to
axes,
say.
get out of here.
Love it. So we've got rogue exiles populating the maps now. How common are these guys, especially with unique, since you get their unique guaranteed? I love that. The whole
It's 1 in 8%, 1 in 12.5 to start with, but of course Atlas tree be Atlas tree.
Mhm.
You
So
can,
speak
but
into
I
that
just
and,
Is there, like, a
don't
map
think people
modifier
want to
for
do
that
that.
or something to guarantee.
I think people want to go back to
there
T1s and run them again
are- I
consistently.
think in this case, this one is the exception, whereas you can get normally guaranteed of the other things. We wanted the exiles to be one that you can't just guarantee all the time.
They don't always have uniques.
Yeah.
But when they do, they
Yeah,
using the-
Epic.
the
I
AI
don't.
is
So they
very
said that
good for,
there's
like,
what?
how it works,
I mean,
so
they
I don't
can have
know.
0, 1, 2. I
Like
mean,
12 of them or something. I
nothing
think
stopping them
they
from
said,
having
or
uniques in every
6.
slot.
I think they said 12
But,
uniques
like,
exiles.
It is
So I would
It's tough,
assume
that
that
would be-
obviously
absurdly rare.
I don't know if they can roll
Assume it's just
specific
roll per slot, basically. Right?
like
Yeah, it is
uniques,
roll per
or
slot,
if they're just
Yeah,
set
yeah,
like this
yeah.
exile's
It's like
always
a
going to have
line
these
of
two
fraction
uniques,
of
you
a
know.
fraction of a percent.
Yeah,
so like
exactly.
all of them, but still like 5 or something like that. Yeah.
You can have them.
But yeah, it'd be
they
cool
have
if one
quite
of
a
them
lot,
could have like
because
ingenuity
their
on, or like you said,
player assumption
Ashermanus
is that their
or
other
something,
gear
you
is
know,
also relatively good, so they do generally drop
like
more
Temporalis or
bias
something
towards
like
dropping higher
huge.
tier rares and stuff like that.
Yeah,
so.
they doing that like full set of items because
Yep,
you've killed
yep,
a player.
yep.
Cool, I like that.
Basically,
I
yeah,
love
man.
that little thing.
Mhm.
Yeah, I feel like it's even more important here in POE2, so
Right.
that's awesome. Bet just some of those
Yeah.
will be unique, maybe.
We wanted them to be less common than the other content, but like way more exhilarating when you find them.
Yeah.
But of course, again, you can speak into the.
How many people are still watching this right now?
cost of other things,
105. I mean, that's
choice.
pretty good.
Is there going to be some sort of like warning that they're coming, or are you going to know they're in the map ahead of time, or are you just going to get ambushed by these guys? Leaf zone from off
You
screen?
won't know they're in the map ahead of time, much like anything random you run into.
But they talk though, and they'll
yeah.
say something before they.
They monologue before they murder
They
you.
do.
Don't know if I'd go to quite the level of
Again, when I
monologue,
said
but
some
sure.
when I said some insult you, I'm not joking. Like some do literally insult you, and I believe one of the monks is a pacifist, and he's like, I don't want to do this. Don't force
Okay,
my
12% 50% chance to
he'll
spawn
do it
per map and
anyway.
can have any unique.
I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm just. You're just like running away.
Yeah,
He's like,
exactly.
don't make me
Don't
do
force my
this.
hand. Yeah, exactly.
So what you're
You
saying
can
is
just
there's a
run away.
chance.
You know, I really like the here's an occasional spike in difficulty.
Really?
It's
So am I
important that
behind the
they
loop,
are
or where have
relatively
these leaks
rare
been
for
at,
that reason
Revered?
as well. But I do want it to be when you find one, you are very excited to kill it. And of course, even though they portal out,
Maybe not
you
then.
still have your number of portals you have. So unless you're running like a full 6 modded Waystone, just get back in there and.
What if they can have that
Keystone,
juiced chess piece, the Herald
whatever,
one?
you've
What
lost your
the
unix
enemies
or
have 0
non-unix,
elemental
whatever they had, but
element
either way, just
reses, I
move on,
mean,
you
in
know?
your presence? That'd be
I
kind of
mean,
great.
you guys were somewhat forgiving with this. You didn't make it so that they take your items.
Yes, that would have been good.
That's an event. At some
Don't
point,
give me that
perhaps.
idea.
That's maybe a
Yeah,
1
yeah.
week event or something in the future.
It'd be
And
pretty
it's
easy to do.
Just take one of
Yeah.
your items.
Yeah.
And then you got a nemesis system where you can find them and try and get it back in the future.
And you add the Tame Rogue Exile gem.
I don't know if tame's the right word.
Higher
Higher
Exile.
exile.
You run up
Yeah,
and you
yeah.
can quickly be like, take a million gold.
Oh, okay,
Just give
okay.
him a little snack. Like, yeah, you want to follow me?
I mean, to be fair, that would be a fun system.
It actually would. That's actually not a bad
Running
idea.
up and just being like, hey, I'm here, give me 100,000
Oh.
gold and I'll be your ally. Is kind
You,
of
I know you've
Come on.
tinkered with the idea of a hireling system at points in the
well,
past, so now you've got your mercenary hireling system, right? Okay, so
See the eyebrows
Recruit one
why?
or two uniques.
We'll see. We'll see.
Going down a little bit of a rabbit
Yeah.
hole here.
Yeah.
So we did have some League mechanics come over from Path of Exile.
Revered.
Path of Exile 2. You're going to be looking to port more over. Are you going to be doing some unique ones that we haven't seen before?
I mean, we're definitely going to be doing more unique ones that are, that are just completely different outside of what we've done in POE 1. Absolutely. But I mean, I think that like sort of the hope in the long term is that each, like, as we kind of get, past the end of early access and as we're sort of, just going out, that each time we do something, we're both adding a completely new league mechanic, but also potentially bring something back as well, kind of like as another additional kind of like, here's another fun thing. So that's probably sort of what I imagine will happen. But it kind of really is case by case. Like some things we don't want to bring back, some things we do, like, and my opinion can change on a dime as well. Like if someone suggests like a new way to interpret something, then I might be like, oh,
I wonder
actually,
what
that is great.
Reddit's saying
So,
right now.
it honestly,
The game.
people assume that we have a full plan of literally everything, but it's like in reality, it's like it's very much responsive to like
Path
what's
of Exile
happening.
2 is
It's
done
like,
content
the
reveal.
the actual plan relates to the things that like are definitely happening. Right? You're talking acts, you're talking classes, you're talking like
There's
all that
the thing
stuff
that's
is
right.
like differently.
Jonathan
that's happening.
apologizes for
Takes a
something.
long
That's
time to
crazy.
produce. It sort of happens in the background. You've got outsources, armies of people kind of working on that stuff, and then all the kind of like more incidentally stuff is very much like, oh, let's do
this
something
one.
cool. Let's just make this. What if we do this? And we don't have a, I don't have a plan for the next,
That
12
is not
strong
right.
boxes. It's just, just come up with an idea and like, that's cool. Just a fun little project for a
The
designer.
batches
to-
today,
to-
obviously.
How do you feel like some of the ones that were, I felt somewhat
Yeah.
definitively part of Exile?
Oh,
1 in
wait,
terms
hold
of
on. I didn't even
cases
see that
like
one. What did that
Breach,
say?
For example, have settled
Due
down
to
do you
the
feel like they're
miscommunication
in a
incorrectly,
good spot, or
we
were they
will
a good
post
idea
patches
to
after the
implement
live stream, but
Look,
unfortunately,
I think
0.2 patches will not be
Breach
available until
Breach-
next week.
Breach
Okay.
is fun, right?
So we're not getting them
Like,
this
yeah,
week.
the
That
control
really
is it.
freaking
I
sucks.
don't know about there's probably been some balance changes.
I
to
mean,
it
it
a
was
little bit.
spawning too many.
It has.
monsters.
Yeah,
It's
it's
only
like
revealed on the
Saying
website.
that
Okay,
without
200
doubt,
It's
and-
much
intelligent
better.
requirement,
Yeah,
100
2
strength
standards, yeah.
requirement,
It,
180% increase
it's
physical
true,
damage,
it-
20% increase
currently
attack
on
speed,
POE2, it's just
plus 1 to all level
2
lightning
hours.
skills,
Just needs to change.
level
There was a little bit of an
18
assumption
lightning
made where it
spell
was just
on
like,
melee hit.
Well, you'll get overwhelmed by monsters, and it's more a matter
Interesting.
of surviving.
So
as long
you
as can,
literally
and then, of course, because you get
cast it
self-propagating
when you
herald builds that are just
do a melee
literally
hit,
can
which
kill
is
you
Which, by the
interesting.
way, heralds
Hmm.
don't self-propagate anymore.
APD says?
Just get that out of the way.
Just get that out of the way right now.
The power of the characters kind of
Yeah.
distorted the league balance
Yeah.
in a way where it's like we have to, make some changes. So yes,
Yeah.
like it's coming down a bit.
I think we saw
For
that
sure.
one coming. with the
Yeah,
heralds.
well, 100%. I mean, look, there's a lot of things people will say they saw coming, but it certainly does end up being the case that like.
Oh,
the
from
patch notes
press
are-
kit? Wait, why don't I have the press
so
kit?
By the way, we aren't releasing
The
them at the end of this live
fudge!
stream. We're going to be releasing them next week. But they are going to.
This is slander. This is slander. Well, we can look at the full sentences,
There's
huh?
a lot of things that needed
Yeah,
to get.
let's talk balance.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah. All right.
My
Okay.
Settle in here.
expectations
Yeah.
in
So, okay. Elemental infusion we've seen. Infused avatar. 50% chance for infusion to not be consumed when infusing a projectile. Wait, hold on. Huntress bow, question mark? The explosions for clearing? Might be cracked. Okay. 20% increased movement speed while an enemy with an open weakness is in your presence. 40% increased skill speed while an enemy with an open weakness is in your presence. Interesting. So a lot of attack speed. Attacks using your weapons have added physical damage equal to 25% of the accuracy rating on the weapon. Interesting. So you just wanted to just get a lot of, I guess, accuracy on the weapon. Try to get like a T12 accuracy roll or something like that. Because that'd be a lot more attack damage. 4% increased skill speed is little stuff. Reveal weakness, we already seen. Crit strike, chance to crit. Chance to hit with attacks can't exceed 100%. An additional critical hit chance equal to... Oh, we can't even see that. Hold on. Do we gotta like an image? Yeah. Equal to 25% of excess chance to hit with attacks. Interesting. So basically, you just want to get a lot of attack, like accuracy rating, it seems like. Life Leech recovers based on your elemental damage as well as physical damage. Huh. Life flasks also recover mana. Mana flasks also recover life. Interesting. 4% increased amount of Life Leech. 20% increased evasion. 50% increased life and mana recovery. Evasion rating from equipped helmet, gloves, and boots is doubled. Evasion rating from body armor is halved. Bro, Queen of the Forest movement speed's about to be broken, dude. The amount of move speed you can get with stalking is insane. So your gloves, your boots, and your helmet is doubled. That seems kind of cracked. Alright, so definitely Elemental Infusion with Infused Avatar seems cracked to be running like ranged projectiles when infusing a projectile. Because obviously your melee attacks, I mean, even some Huntress stuff you do throw as a melee projectile, right? So you could do like the Storm Spear when you're throwing it with Infused Avatar and Elemental Infusion, and then you get a chance to not even consume it. Plus you're going to get that like AoE explosions from Elemental Infusion. That seems kind of cracked. Obviously, in for the kill is good for that skill speed. Move speed, like, you know, in your presence, it doesn't really help for move speed wise. I mean, I guess for a little bit, but, you know, pack to pack, I don't really know how it'll feel. Penetrate could be very good to have more, obviously, added physical damage. For accuracy, then you can combine that, obviously, with, like, critical strike. So this way you have 20% chance of excess chance to hit is more crit chance. That seems really good as well. I mean, overall, this seems kind of cracked for Huntress. Before we get to the next sentence, I'm going to the bathroom. I'll be right back. I'm back, sorry. So, literally, this Ascendancy is going to be cracked to go into. I mean, this is literally good for anything. Any projectile, spear skills, bow skills, crossbow skills, like, very good. We'll wait to see the Lich. We're going to look at, fudge, where's the other Ascendancy for her? There we go. I thought this was the Lich, it's not. Okay, Ritual Sacrifice can be used on yourself, we've seen that. 20% of maximum life to go on a random monster attribute. You can only get one this way. So I guess the other ways you can get multiple of them. Blood Boil, again, we don't see the full info on that, sadly. So that's Ritual Sacrifice. We already know what that does. More move speed's interesting. Increased charge, charm charges gain, 5% increased life recovery rate per 5% missing life, interesting. Can a set consume 25% of maximum mana to trigger charms with insignificant charges? Interesting. If there's some unique charms that are actually cracked, could be cool, but overall, +1 charm slot, Again, I feel like charms are just kind of in the game. Yeah, so the +1 ring, yeah, you can get 3 rings now, Sanka. Plus, so it's -15 all elemental reses, 25% reduced spirit, and 30% reduced maximum mana. Wait, what? Why would you ever go into those? Oh, you got to choose one of those to get into the +1 ring slot. Okay. Does anybody like just feel like this one's kind of dog? I don't know. I feel like it's kind of dog. Like the +1 rings is really good. The charm slots, like I said, charm's not really even that good. If there's really good unique ones this time around, because they said they're bringing in unique charms, I feel like it could be very good. But if there's not, I just feel like this Ascendancy overall is just kind of Like compared to the other one, where you literally get elemental infusions to trigger like AoE stuff. You can, chance to not consume if you're doing range projectiles. You get more crit chance, more damage, because you can throw like weak points on an enemy, right? You get more skill speed. You can get like more crit chance based on your accuracy rating, which pairs back into your weapons have added physical damage equal to 25% of your accuracy rating. Like this seems a lot better than this Ascendancy. I don't know how you guys feeling about this. All right. Ingenuity is going to cost a mirror. That's, yeah, true. Lego doubles. Yeah, I mean, like I said, doubles both rings could be good, but everything else is I mean, yeah, a modifier and then just 25% increase from rings of both. Yeah. I mean, it could be, but like I said, that's the only thing that's good about this is just you can get 2 ring slots and then increase the bonuses gained from your rings and amulets. That's it. It's like the only good thing about this Ascendancy. Like maybe Blood Boil will be good. Ritual Sacrifice can be, but again, you gotta like, it's just getting basically modifier, so it's just a Headhunter. You get a Headhunter, you get the exact same thing as this. So like, Now we get into Lich. We'll do the other one first. Okay. So this is the warrior forging thing. So the little one is minions deal 20% increased damage, 20% increased melee damage, 15 to fire res, and 20% increased fire damage. So these are obviously all the little ones right here. Then you can go into grants fire spell on hit. Again, we don't have gem info on this, so we don't know exactly how cracked it is. Temper weapons, again, no info, but temper weapons, we've seen that I think it creates like a little fire explosion when you hit. The fire spell could be very cool, could be very good, but again, without gem info, know exactly what it does. We can't really say too much about it or look into it heavily. Then we get into manifest weapon again. I think that just means, I think they showed a little bit where you can just manifest it and it'll like kind of attack with you, which could be good. But again, without seeing gem info, we really don't know. I guess if you ran this, it would count as a minion, so you would just try to stack a bunch of minion increase stuff. Maybe you could have multiple of these going at a time, which could be cool. So what are the big ones up here? Modifiers to fire resistance also grants cold and lightning resistance at 50% of their value. So this would play into like going and basically making your own body armor, like, going into probably 75% of fire resistance, and then you would get 50% of that to cold and lightning. Modifiers to maximum fire res also grant maximum cold and lightning resistance. Interesting. I don't know. I feel like this Ascendancy again is just kind of, I don't know, interesting. Like the whole thing down here is for your body armor. So it could be good, but you have to run a white body armor. You can't run anything to get, so if you run, you know, above a white, you can't get any of these. So what can you get down here? Body armor grants 25% of physical damage from hits taken as fire. More max fire res. Grants hits against you have 50% reduced crit damage. Regenerate 5 life per second. Then obviously 75 lightning. 20% increased strength. Life. I mean, I don't know. I'm feeling about this Ascendancy, to be honest. Like, these three could be go. It just seems very tanky, low-key. Doesn't really seem like attack style. Like, it just seems more of tanky, survivability type Ascendancy. I don't know. Just get Cold Stalker and you have pretty much a disgusting chest piece. True. A Cold Stalker? Yeah, I mean, yeah. It's just going into an Ascendancy, I feel like, just to make a good body armor seems kind of weird. Like, I feel like you're losing so much stuff in every other area, you know? Exactly, Epic. Like, I don't know. All right, so then we get into the Lich. This might be one of my Ascendancies that I'm going into. Right now, the League starter that I'm looking into is either Lich or Huntress into this. So let's go back into Lich. Okay, so here's Unholy Might. So they changed it. Unholy Might is a buff that grants 30% of all damage as extra chaos damage. Okay, so that could be very good. That could be kind of good, low-key. All right, so let's see though. So we'll go into this. So 20% increase max ES, and then obviously you can go into Crystalline down here, which basically makes a non-unique basic jewel. You can socket it in. It'll get 100% increased effect. So basically just double whatever it says on the jewel. But 50% more mana cost if we have 0 energy shield. So you would have to probably play a high ES base with this Ascendancy. So then if we go into the right, 30% increased energy shield if you consumed a power charge recently. Non-channeling spells consume power charges to deal 25% more damage. So I wonder how chaos damage based skill would be like feeling. Like, I think Hex Blast is chaos, right? If I'm not mistaken. So maybe Hex Blast like Lich could be very cool. Could be very good. But that's a channel though, so you wouldn't be able to get Prince of Power or Price of Power. Do we have any good like chaos like spells in the game right now that could take use of full like chaos damage stuff like this? That's not channeling. I mean, True Revered, you're not wrong. Oh, it's not channel? Okay. So I'm bugging then. So I mean, Hex Blast could work then here. Could be good. 10% of damage taken bypasses your energy shield. No inherent mana regen. Interesting. Regenerate mana equal to 6% of your maximum life. So interesting. I guess you just want to stack life then to get mana regen if you're playing that. Interesting. 30% increase max life. Your life cannot charge. Or okay. Jesus. Your life cannot change while you have energy shield. Interesting. So how does that work? What does it mean by you cannot change? Like you can't increase the effect of it? Like is that what it means? I have no clue what it means why it cannot change. Oh, I think it means like you literally can't go down. So you literally cannot take any type of bypass damage if you have energy shield. I think that's what it means. Infernalist Demon build spams it? Yeah. So it could be good here too. Yeah, Epic. Yeah, it took me a long time, but I got there. Interesting. Okay, so that's the right side. It's not bad. The non-channeling spells consume power charge, deal 25% more damage is interesting. I think power charge is on the tree if I look really quickly. Don't power charges give you more crit damage if you consume them? Yeah, so on the tree you can get it to where yeah, you get increased critical damage bonus if you gain a power charge recently. You could do that, maximum power charges and stuff like that. So you can get more crit damage. So maybe just running like a power charge consume type build, like with that to generate for more crit damage. Maybe it could be good. Maybe it could be good. I don't know. So you can't die with ES. Yeah, seems about right. And now you have ES, you can't get blood. At least that is my hope. Yeah, I think. So on the left side now, We go into this energy shield. So 20, okay. And then we go into this one. Eldritch Empowerment. Non-channeling spells cost an additional 3% of your max energy shield. Non-channeling spells deal 30% more damage. Spending energy shield does not interrupt recharge. Interesting. I mean, that's 30% more damage for non-channeling. Then you can go into non-channeling spells, consume power charge, deal 25% more damage. So to get that together, that's what? 55% more damage you're doing with just these two alone with 4 points, which is kind of cracked. I mean, it could be very good. My only thing is, like, comparing this to demon form and just stacking, I guess, is different. I just wonder if this would do enough damage to really boss efficiently. I think clearing you'd have no issue. I just don't know, yeah, about, like, doing, you know, bossing, how it would feel. So then we can go into this one, which is Rupture the Soul. Cursed enemies killed by you or your allies have a 33% chance to explode, dealing a quarter of their maximum life as cast damage. Again, Rupture Soul, I feel like, is just so good for clearing, like, insanely good. Then we get into Necromantic Conduit. You and your allies have presence, and your presence have Unholy Might while you're not low, not on low mana. Lose 5% of mana per second. So my thing is, would you try to play a high mana build, or you guys think you would kind of do the same thing with like demon, like flame type stacks? You would just try to get low mana and high mana regen to combat the 5% mana per second. I mean, I guess early on it wouldn't matter because it's not increasing, so you would just get, you know, 5% of your mana is mana per second, and you would technically not lose any mana. So it's not like Demon Flame where it increases. Because I think getting Unholy Might you would want to get, because that's literally 30% of all damage is extra chaos, which is kind of cracked if you think about it. Dominion over Flesh is mandatory. I need to actually look that up to refresh my like head what that does. Dominion over Flesh. Ba, 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 ba. Ba, 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 ba. Oh, you're talking about the bottom left. You have to get into that. Okay, I was tweaking. I was like, oh, is that like a skill? Like, what's going on here? All right, so you're talking about that at the bottom left. I have to go with the person who made this has this. Yeah. Slice the arrows on Rupture Necromantic. Yeah. Depends on have to look at the end game at HP mana ratio. True. Unfortunate. Yeah, I see that review. I thought it was something. I mean, what does the Minion over Flesh do? Well, actually, we'll get into that after. Where were we? We were at this one right here, which goes there. Okay, so this one we looked into. This one we did not look. Did we? No, we did. Okay, and then we go down, which we go into Curse Aura. So 25% increased area of effect of curses. Interesting. There's no way to automate curses, is there? Like, have it to where you can... Actually, no, there is, isn't there? I swear there's something you can automate. Right? With some type of Spirit Gem, the where to auto-cast some presence, I think, correct? So you wouldn't have to cast, you would just honestly, like, auto-have it on all the time, so this way you can just explode packs. So then we go into Dominion over Flesh. So that goes into... Where the heck did we just read that one? Yeah, right there. Dominion over Flesh, yeah. You can apply an additional curse. Your curses can affect hexproof enemies. Yeah, you would definitely have to run that. Yeah. So then Blackened Heart. 4% increased magnitude of Unholy Might buffs you grant per 100 max mana. Oh, snap. That's... Okay. So you would literally just play a huge max mana type build then. With a lot of mana regen. Because you would want to have like 7 to 8k mana, right? So 100 per 100 mana, right? So if you had, what, 7k mana, that's what? What is it? Is it 1%? Shoot. So that is a, yeah, so that's like 70. Now what does that give again? So that's 4%, 70. So we would just do 70 times 4, I think, if my math's correct, right? That's 280% increased magnitude. Is that correct? Or am I just completely stupid? Because I think you would do that, right? Because that'd be 70, because you would just do 70 times 100, and that's 7K. And then you do 70 times 4, because you're getting 4% per that, right? And that's 280. I think that's how it works. I could be wrong. But basically, I mean, that's a lot more damages chaos. So, I mean, low-key, this is seeming really good, low-key, to do for chaos damage build. Yeah. Yeah, okay, so yeah, that is interesting. So, I'll be honest, I think out of all the Ascendancy classes right now, the best, well, we have yet to look at this one, so hold on, we'll look at that one. But for right now, it is looking like, I forget what this Ascendancy class is called. I forget what they called it, but this one and Lich is looking cracked. I just hope that they misplaced those lines, because why do you have curse increase on a line where you need mana, and mana on a line with curses? Curse, and then it goes down into increased magnitude of buffs, and then mana. Yeah, I see what you're saying, potentially, but yeah, so that's, I don't know, that's what, 280% increased magnitude of Unholy Might if you have like 7k mana? That is a lot of extra damage as chaos, to say the least. So that might be actually kind of cracked. So the last one we have yet to look at is obviously, the Mercenary. How do I get to, so the way I did it, I don't know if my math is correct. Probably isn't, let's be honest. So it's 4%, right, per 100 max mana. So just say you have 7,000 mana, right? At least the way I did it is we just do 7,000 divided by 100, and that's 70, correct? It's per 100. And I guess the way you could do it really quickly is just doing it by because that's the way I did it. Not just times it by 4. I was trying to do it like another way, but that's the way I did it. Just 70 times 4 is 280. But I mean, maybe I'm stupid. I don't know. But that's how I was getting it. I'm not the best at math, so. But I think that's correct. So average across top 100 builds on POE2.ninja for live is 2,677 HP and 914 mana for witches. I mean, I don't know. I know we have Ellie that's running a Blood Mage arc, like Frostwall build, and she has 7,000 mana. So, I mean, obviously you can get more than 900 mana, let's be honest. My what do you call it, build? My my Ranger build has like 800 mana. So, well, you had me confused there, Ben. I was like, wait, did I do something stupid on the stream? I was like, oh god, no. Yeah, I know what you're saying, Revered, but like you can literally get like what? I think T12 is like 180 or something, 170 mana on gear. So you can get that, and then you can run defense modifiers if you really want to, or mana modifiers on your gear to get more mana or more damage if you wanted to roll like that, right? So obviously you can get more than that. So, I mean, just say at the low end, right, you're going to do what? Just say 2,000 mana. We'll say at the low end you get 2k. We'll do 2,000 divided by 100, right? That's 20. So you're doing 20 times 4. That's 80% increase in magnitude of Unholy Might. So basically you're almost doubling it, right? So just say you're doubling it. That's 60% of all damage is extra chaos, if that's how it works. So I mean, you should be getting a lot of extra damage as chaos. So you would just kind of, I guess, stack mana and going into that, and then you would roll into probably running like what? Because if you're coming down into here, that's only 4 points to get to that, which seems correct. I don't know, is it me? Or it's like Lich seem kind of cracked for chaos damage. Like, am I bugging? Am I bugging right now? Looking at it with my eyeballs, they're running 4,800 at the lowest. I found a 7,800 was the highest. Okay. So just say, I mean, a league start, right? We're not going to have that. But I think 2,000 mana is pretty easy to get. I mean, 80%, just say you're doubling it. That's 60% of your damage is extra chaos, right? Like, that seems kind of pretty good. Because it's not just like fire, lightning, that's all your damage. So everything you do, you're getting it, right? And I mean, you're stacking mana, so you could run like Mind Over Matter if you want to. I think this is what is the one that takes mana first before life. But I mean, you could, so you're running that to 4. You could go into stuff like, you know, Price of Power for non-channeling skills. That's 25% more damage. Like, I feel like this should be good. Now, like I said, the only concern I have is bossing. I don't know how good bossing would do. And I don't know what main skill you would run with this. I mean, there's Hex Blast. I think Hex Blast is, I think Hex Blast is Chaos, right? Yeah, it does Chaos damage, so you can run Hex Blast. I don't know, Hex Blast is pretty good. And you said this isn't a channeling, right? You sure it's not a channeling? Okay, so it removes curse, but if you have the, I swear there's an aura that allows you to, your curses to be like up 100% of the time. Probably go to POE 2DB. Let's find it. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Ben. And we can definitely get more, like 6, 7. I mean, even getting like 3K is literally doubling. 4K, you know, is up to almost like 120, 130%. Like, it's just, you get it to basically 100% of your damage is chaos almost. There's extra chaos damage. Yeah, let me look at jewels, gems. I swear there's something with curses. Like some type of like aura that allow you some type of spirit gem. Yeah, it's blasphemy. Turns socketed curse skills into vile auras, applying their effects to all nearby enemies. So if you run blasphemy, obviously it was going to reduce it, right? By 50% less effective curses. I mean, you could take this off for bosses, sure. But if you're running blasphemy with Hex Blast, wouldn't that just technically mean that you're on, like, you're auto cursing them, so you never have to reapply it with Hex Blast? Is that how these builds work? I mean, I haven't looked into them, but I'd assume you would run it into blasphemy with Hex Blast. Oh, gonna be playing Witch? Maybe. Correct? Okay, so I mean, I don't know. I just feel like that's cracked on paper. Because you would do 4 points into that. Then obviously you'd have 4 more. So you could put 2 into Price of Power. Potentially. You could go. Well, you would honestly, you'd have to go into these 2. So you'd have to put 4 points into Blackened Heart, I feel like. And then another 2 into Necromantic Conduit. Because you'd want to get Unholy Might, obviously, if you're going into Blackened Heart. From there, you'd have 2 points less to play with. So you could go for Dominion over Flesh for additional curse, which might be kind of cracked. I don't know how it would affect Blasphemy, though. If it would double, like, curse? I don't know. Or what else could you go into? I guess Eldritch Empowerment, technically, for 30% more damage. But, I mean, just having mana stacking with Unholy Might might just be enough, bro, with the extra chaos. I just don't know. Okay, so the last thing we have yet to look, we'll leave that on the bench, is the Merc. So, where does Supporting Fire come from? So, Supporting Fire is here. What Supporting Fire does is a minion from this, so minions from this skill have 1% increased accuracy rating per 3 of your dexterity. Minions from this skill have 1% increased damage per 3% of your strength. So, you would just strength stack with Supporting Fire? Summons a hidden artillery squad trailing you that can fire volleys of arrows on command. The artillery squad counts as your minions. It's persistent. It's interesting. Okay, so I guess you would just run that, and then you would just run a bunch of strength and minion like increases to potentially run it. Now again, for clearing, it might be good. For bossing, I think it would be absolutely trash. I wish they clicked over to command death from afar so we could actually see the other stuff rather than minion info. But I mean, yeah, for bossing, this wouldn't work. For clearing, it might be cool just to run around like with a move speed and just have this coming down and like, you know, chain clearing. Maybe heralds would work as well on it. We'll see what the other skills are. I'm worried about Necromantic Conduit and that 5% per second. Oof. Yeah, I mean, it could be. Like, I don't know. I don't really know how much mana regen we can get. We might be able to bypass the 5%, though. Yeah. Group play Ascendancy? Yeah, potentially revered, yeah. Minion snipers destroy bosses? Oh, I didn't know, Ben, about that. I haven't looked into minions at all. Okay, so we'll look at other stuff, though. So we started down here going into sniper. What is this one? Cannons ready. Totems have 30% more skill speed. Totems only use skills when you fire an attack projectile. Interesting. That could be, so I guess you would go into this with minions and maybe totem builds. So what is this going into? Precision buff have 50% less reservation. That's kind of nice for herald stacking and other stuff. I mean, banner skills, increased area of effect, increased area presence, nice. Allies in presence gain added attack damage equal to 25% of main hand's weapon damage. It kind of sucks this doesn't affect you, though. Like, I don't think it does, because in the other one here, it clearly states that, we go back to it, it clearly states that you and allies. So I would assume that this only affects allies and not you, which kind of sucks. But maybe I'm wrong. This one can place multiple banners. So again, it kind of just seems like the co-op, like, Ascendancy type, you know, group play. A lot of stuff that affects like group play. Multiple banners could be cool for you. Pinned enemies cannot perform actions. Again, we like cool, but I don't think you'd waste points in going into this. Gain 100% of armor as extra stun threshold and gain 100% of evasion rating as extra element threshold. Decent survivability nodes there. And then what is the big one? Defend with 200% of armor. Enemies have accuracy penalty against you based on distance. Maximum evade chance is 50%, and maximum physical damage reduction is 50%. Interesting. And I think that's it. So I guess the real damage stuff would just be minion stacking with like supporting fire and stuff. Right? Now the thing is, this doesn't yeah, this is minions from this skill, so this doesn't affect all minions though. So your main damage stuff would be supporting fire and then just ballistas. Or like totems and stuff with cannons ready, I guess. And everything else is just defense. Like, that's it. Again, overall, if we're looking at purely damage-wise and trying to like go through, this Ascendancy's looking It could be good with minion stacking, but I don't do minions and I haven't looked into it a lot, so I don't really know how good this is for a like minion player. So maybe if you guys are in chat, you can let me know. But yeah, for me, it's kind of looking Yeah. Yeah, it's exactly, Ben. Like, it literally says minions from this skill, minions from this skill, so it wouldn't affect anything other than supporting fire into the, like, command death from above type thing. So it wouldn't affect any of your minions besides this, which, again, it looks kind of dog, I'll be honest. Like, I don't know. Comparing it to everything else, like, this Ascendancy seems kind of cool. Potentially has some playability in, like, Manifest Weapon. Honestly, the fire and spell, I could see some people kind of being cracked with like attack speed and stuff like that, and maybe just hitting a bunch with the fire and spell and trying to like get that up to do damage. But this just seems absolutely cracked for chaos damage, like insane amount of increased damage, and you know, all damage is extra chaos and a bunch of more damage and stuff like that you can get. So this seems cracked. This seems cool. But again, it seems more of kind of like a Zoom style with the increased move speed, and then you obviously get like, you know, your ritual sacrifice, like mini herald, not heralds, but like a mini headhunter. But overall, I mean, the increased bonuses gained from rings and the extra ring slot could be very good for ingenuity. But I think the two best Ascendancies and stuff like that that are really going to be cracked, I feel like, this league are definitely the Lich. And I forget the name of this one, if you guys could remind me. But this Ascendancy seems cracked as well. Gemmling with spears it is then for me. That's crazy. I mean, this Ascendancy looks kind of insane. Like, the fact that you can get, you know, the infusions, depending on what you use. So if you're gaining frenzies or you're consuming them, that's more lightning infusion. And all these are like AoEs. When you hit an enemy, they'll proc. And then you can have a chance to not consume them on projectiles. So if you run any type of bows or crossbows, or even, I'm pretty sure there's spear skills like Storm Spear that you throw, it hits, it'll create mini like lightning tendrils. So that can be very broken on that front. And then you just accuracy stack, it seems like, a little bit on your gear to get like more weapon damage or physical damage equal to 20% of your accuracy rating. Then you could go down into critical strike, so you're gaining crit chance equal to, I think it's 20% or 25% of your excess chance to hit. Predatory Instincts is cool for 50% more damage with open weaknesses, and that's affects uniques. So like this Ascendancy looks really good as well. And then also Life Leech recovers based on elemental damage as well as physical is really good as well. So, I mean, I don't know. I'm liking both of these, honestly. I kind of leaning towards Lich a lot for like chaos damage with like Blasphemy and stuff. Now, my thing to you guys is, what is the best chaos spell? Is it simply Hex Blast? Or is there better like chaos spells out there that we could run? Because like, obviously, I don't think we have Soul Rend, right? Like, I don't think we have Soul Rend in the game yet. So we can't run Soul Rend. I think we do have Essence Drain. But again, I just don't know how good these would be compared to just running stuff like Hex Blast. Because Hex Blast has a lot of inherent cast damage already. Plus it's an AoE. And all that. So, plus it inherently already gets more cast damage on it. And then we're stacking, like, you know, more damage is chaos. Like, I don't know. Amazon Prime is crazy, Ben. Hex Blast is the only spammable skill right now. Okay, so for Lich, you would go Hex Blast then. So yeah, I don't know. Definitely the two I'm leaning into are definitely Hex Blast, Lich, and then I don't know. Like I said, we haven't seen all the skills though, correct? Because didn't they say there was like 20 something new skills for the spear or the Huntress, and they only showed like 4 or 5 or something, right? They showed the tornadoes, blazing spear. I think like the land one where you can like throw them and they detonate. And then like the, I think storm, whatever it's called, like the overlapping thing, whatever it's called, like vortex spear or whatever. So I don't think we've seen all of them, right? So like we still have a bunch of stuff on this. Yes, Ben, Spirit is going to be a one-handed weapon. So they want you to apparently offhand it with like bucklers and stuff. Now, I don't know if it's only bucklers or if you can do any shield types, but yeah, it's going to be a one-handed type thing. This is already done, so we can get out of here. So did I miss anything in here, by the way? I don't know if you can dual wield, Ben. I don't know if you can dual wield spears.
Yeah, and it's like, the thing is,
Let's see what people are saying about this. Apparently they were doing the Q&A the full time, Ben, or something, is what people were saying. I mean, I can go back and look, but...
What's it?
Shrines.
Oh, shrine.
The map.
Was false.
yeah. But as I said, we have a workaround now
That's good.
that will basically recreate the graphics device if
So you might
it will be wrong, like literally one bit in there.
Join my party. Get in here and finish it for me. You know, you don't want to kind of have that style.
Yeah, I don't know. It's not
play happening. So there is still some things
we
we
gotta
need
wait
to
a little bit till it gets full updates. They were attacking like a truck with them spears, so like warrior dual wield instant lockdown. Well, I don't know if you can dual wield spears is the thing, Revered. In the gameplay that they showed us for the Huntress, there was no dual wielding.
Lightning spear to bounce light.
Because there was lightning spear, right? There's one hand again with a buckler. And so like this is one hand with a buckler, another one hand with a buckler. You know, like there's nothing in here with like dual wielding. There's all one hand stuff. One hand, more one hand. This is one hand. This is one hand. This is also one hand that they're showing. This is like the endgame stuff that they said you could do. All one hand. So I don't think you can dual wield them. I mean, I don't know. They are one hand, so it's weird that you wouldn't be able to dual wield, right? So maybe you can. They just didn't show it, but at least in the footage of gameplay, they did not show dual wielding. I don't know if they said it in the Q&A that you could do that, but yeah. Like I said, I mean, Spear has a lot of cool skills, right? But I don't think they showed all of them, considering that they said in the beginning here, if we go back and look, once they went through. Right here, if I go and look. All right, that's like 1 skill, it's 2 skill. This is 3, 4, 5. So we didn't see that skill at all. No clue what that skill is. That skill is cool. Obviously, this is one of the Ascendancies we've seen. There's the tornado stuff we've seen. That, I had no clue what skill that is. That we've seen already. That we've seen. So the 25 new skills, we obviously didn't see 25 new skills today. Seen maybe 6, 7 new skills. The Wisp we've seen. Looks cool. So like I said, I'm honestly just going to be waiting, I think, for the skills, but I'm very interested in the like Hexblast Lich, or Lich, I mean. That seems very cool with the increased chaos. I feel like it could be kind of cracked. But my thing is, like, I don't know, is it, you guys think it would be more powerful than like Demon Flame stacking? Probably not, right? But yeah. See what people are saying about this. Where is the thing? Crystalline. Oh, this one. I don't know, maybe. I'm sure they're gonna nerf stuff big time, Ben. Looking at the crystalline thing, did they say that this affects all jewels? Like every jewel on your tree? I forgot if they said that or not. Or does this affect the only one jewel that's socketed there? The one you socketed in there? Okay. I was interested on how I am supposed to get stuff from Juice Maps now with one portal. That I don't know about Epic. They didn't address that. I would assume you can keep going back in the portal as many times as you want, as long as you don't die. You would think, right? But yeah, they didn't address that. But yeah, low-key, like, I mean, I guess also in this for Lich, you could go minions, but I'm low-key thinking, like, Hex Blast might be cracked as well. True, Epic. Yeah, Revered, but I think Epic was talking about, like, going in, getting your inventory filled, right? And then trying to go back and, like, deposit stuff and then come back into the same portal. how that works. They addressed that towards the end of the Q&A. They'll be reviewing it internally this weekend, and next week they said they need to make it clear to understand. Okay, bet. So there's still stuff being touched upon. So, I mean, for right now, I think the two best Ascendancy classes are Lich, and then I keep forgetting this one, what they called it. But this one. And then Lich. Low-key out of the four shown. Those are crafting. Guys, David. Oh, there's the press kit. Hold on. That's it. Okay. Okay. There's no other patch notes, right? Nah, nothing. Okay. No patch notes. Sucks. Sucks. Yeah, true. Like I said, I think Lich minion build might go cracked and be cool as well. But I definitely think in the Lich, you can definitely do like a Hex Blaster type build with the amount of extra chaos damage you can get from Holy Might and other stuff. Like, I feel like it's just kind of a no-brainer not to do, right? Amazon Prime Ascendancy? Yeah, basically. But yeah, I'm gonna have to look into this low-key and see what I want to do. I mean, I guess right now it's just waiting for the patch notes. I mean, the only video I could make is us going over the thing. But like me doing, I guess, like a full touch over all the, you know, changes, like all the content revealed, whatever. But that's like the only video that I think I can do at the current time with the info that they've given us. See if anybody posts anything over here. Does chaos damage count as elemental resistance? I don't think it does, right? So we couldn't like run this thing, but this would work for like the lightning spear or anything related to that for Amazon Prime, imagine, for the Huntress. Because like I know there's an ice spear they have yet to reveal too. So I don't know. Gonna be interesting to look at the two to do. Yeah. Okay. See. Yeah, true. That guy's right. Like with the new runes and other stuff coming, and like soul cores, there's really no point in even running this Ascendancy almost compared to the other stuff you can get on like the runes and you know, new crafting options. Like the body armor from the warriors new Ascendancy is not even that really insane. Okay, well, what are the requirements of that in the same body armor? Let me go down and tell you. There's this one, 200 intelligence. It's 250 intelligence, 200 strength. This one is level 84, 86 strength, and 86 dex. So basically nothing. Just pretty much level 84. And then you get all three heralds. I don't think any spirit requirements either on any of those. Plus you get life. Plus you get all elemental reses. Plus you get enemies in your presence have no elemental reses. I mean, dude, this body armor is literally going to be hundreds of divines. This is probably the best body armor that at least Path of Exile 2's ever seen. And up there in POE 1 as well. Oh, wait, hold on. Jonathan confirmed heralds do not chain from each other anymore? Wait, I didn't see this. No, he didn't link the clip. That's crazy. Well, if this is true, okay, so that even makes potentially going into Lich Hex Blast better for the chance to explode. But I mean, I guess it really isn't that insane. It's just you don't get off chain like screen clears anymore. It's nothing crazy though. It's nothing insane, I guess, overall, because you're not nerfing the heralds, but it definitely doesn't. You're not chain clearing them anymore, which kind of sucks. So, interesting. I'm sure we'll figure out ways around it though. Like, it'll be fine. Let me go into like the news section. Oh, spectral volley support. Hold on. Attacks with supported skills create a spectral projectile. Spectral projectiles will fire if no spectral projectiles have been created in the last 30 seconds. Supported skills deal 60% less damage when not fired from spectral projectiles. Supported skills deal 20% more damage when fired from spectral projectiles. Maximum 5 projectiles. I don't understand this. This seems kind of dog, no? So you create a spectral projectile. You're going to have maximum of 5. Basically means you can shotgun with 5 projectiles right at the start. That'll 20% more damage. But after that, you do 60% less damage with every hit. And you can't fire your projectiles if you've... Hold on. Spectral projectiles fire if no spectral projectile created. Okay, so basically you're attacking, you're getting no 60% less damage. Then you're firing 5. And then you're not doing any more damage. I don't know. It seems interesting. Like, it seems okay, but it doesn't seem insane. Like, I don't know. Maybe? I'm trying to think how this would work. Like, I don't know. See what this says, how many people are going to the new stuff. I guarantee you 90%, right? New league, both standard new league. Such different new league, def new. New. Yeah, I mean, a bunch of people are going new. Okay. Okay. Yeah, right. All right, well, with that being said, I mean, there's really not too much to do, right? We kind of went over like a lot of the stuff. I mean, I already have some creative juices being flowed, you know? Just now I just gotta wait. Really, to figure out what the patch notes are gonna be before we can really do anything. Because we've already like I said, I mean, for the Ascendancies, it's really only 2 of them I feel like that are cracked. And I can't really do anything. Too much on these. I mean, I guess potentially I could do maybe a theory crafting thing, a video, for the new Lich Ascendancy. But yeah, I mean, we don't know any really stuff, at least with the new skills and stuff like that. So I don't know, and we don't know the skill changes either. So the skill changes could be kind of cracked, but. But yeah, I think I'm just gonna end the stream there, low key, and then I'll look into some stuff and go from there. I guess I might try to do some type of video depending on like the new theory crafting stuff, the new Ascendancies. But I mean, besides that, I don't really know too much what to do. We gotta wait for the patch notes, obviously, to really start making a lot of league start stuff since we don't know the changes of the, you know, gem skills and stuff like that, and support gems. But I mean, yeah, I should be live tomorrow. I'll keep everybody updated if I'm not. But yeah, thanks everybody for obviously chilling out with me on the watch stream today. If you guys obviously have any like build ideas or anything like that, feel free to share them in the Discord. I'd love to hear them for the new Ascendancies and stuff like that related to it. But yeah, I mean, thanks everybody for chilling and hanging out. And yeah, I will see you guys again pretty soon. Have a great rest of your day, everybody. And yeah, peace out, Ben. Peace out, Revered. Peace out, guys. Peace out, Doodle. Peace out, Epic.